Yo, what's happening, Magic players? Oh, it's just that time of week. I love it. I love it. It is Mount Gall. This is Magic the Gathering at Lotus. I am your commentator, PR Son.
Carl, how's it going, guys?
And it looks like they've just gone straight into it. So let's go ahead to the mats and start talking about the action ahead of us. We got round one ahead in Lotus here in our modern day tournament. And it looks like we have Vickers on the left, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And we have Daniel on the right. Vickers looks like he has, of course, that one land that that I was explaining to. What was it that brings out the construct? What is that land called?
Urza's Saga.
Urza's Saga is what it was. So he has an Urza's Saga, and it looks like he has a dual color land for red and black, and now he just played one for black and white. So, oh my, I don't think I've seen Vickers play this type of deck. The other deck I've seen Vickers play was like a 90 card deck, I think, and it was like blue, white, and red.
So that one was Jeskai Yorion. This is actually a Jund, so that's a black-green shockland. That's Overgrown Tomb there with Blood Crypt. So both of those lands come into play tapped unless you pay 2 life. And on the left, we do see Daniel playing humans. That's Champion of the Parish, and that looks like a Phantasmal Image copying Champion of the Parish. Whenever a human enters the battlefield, Champion of the Parish gets a 1/1 counter. And so Vickers, if I had to assume, is playing small Jund. We see the Lur's Companion there. So we can expect to see things like Tarmogoyf, Unholy Heat, Urza's Saga we've already seen play. But it'll be low to the ground. This should be a relatively interesting matchup. Humans hasn't gotten a major update yet. But, and I use the term lightly, Innistrad is absolutely chock brim full of humans, so it could add something any day.
You know, so. This piques my interest too, because humans, I think this is the first time I've actually commentated a modern tournament, and this is the first time I see humans. So is this like tribal, so the only thing in this deck is humans, or it's kind of like humans mixed with some other cards?
It's humans exclusively, with the exception of Phantasmal Image there, but Phantasmal Image is arguably one of the best clones of all time. It's able to copy anything on the field for the cost of 2 mana, so itself is effectively a 2-drop human that can be anything on the field.
Ah, so it looks like his Urza Saga keeps on ticking up and up, and we do have a construct on the board. Construct did swing, however, it's for how many artifacts he has on play, and it doesn't seem like he has any artifacts on play other than the one underneath it, but yeah, I don't know if that was something that he equipped to it or not.
I believe so. It looks like it is a Shadow Spear, which should keep him in the game against humans a little bit ways. Right now, that construct is a 3/3 with trample and lifelink potentially, and that'll outpower any of the humans. Up until now, at least. We do see Daniel play that 3rd Champion of the Parish effectively, so that first one's going to go to 3, that second one's going to go to 2, and this third one that he just played is now 1/1. But he's going to play another human here, more than likely up. It's a Reflector Mage. That's going to trigger all those Champion of the Parish. That's going to bounce the construct to his hand.
Ooh.
But in response, we did see the burn go to that other Champion of the Parish.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Lightning Bolt we saw on the stack right there, going into dealing 3 damage before it gets the +1/+1. Now I'm actually very curious, does the +1/+1, are they permanent or to the end of turn?
Those are permanent.
Oh, too good. I think for as long as I've been in the game, every time I would see humans, the humans actually have a way of just collecting a whole bunch of +1/+1 counters and just becoming a huge juggernaut when it comes to swinging in for a whole bunch of damage.
Yeah, absolutely. The deck is fairly consistent, and it was actually started off by a MTG YouTuber by the name of MTG AIDS, actually, and he kind of piloted it. He's responsible for this deck, and he's responsible for Hardened Scales, so this deck actually has quite a bit of a lineage to it.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. So it looks like on Vickers' side of the field, we can't see the count yet. You know what? I completely forgot to tell them to put the phone out there so that we can see the count. But Vickers right now has 4 lands, and of course the card on board, it looks like, what is on his board right there? It's just 1 card. I thought it was an equipment card, and then I guess whenever he got rid of the construct, the equipment just lays around?
Yep. So that's Shadow Spear.
Oh, okay. So, in Magic the Gathering, whenever you have to equip an equipment to a creature, if the creature was destroyed, the equipment automatically just stays floating until you equip it to another creature.
Pretty much. It's just, think of it just like a battlefield. You know, you kill your opponent, their equipment's going to be ripe, they're ready for the looting. So you can pick up their equipment or whatever. The only time an equipment leaves is if there's an ability that forces it to do so.
Okay, gotcha. So I've seen some spells too that, get rid of target creature and then everything attached to it, send to the grave or something like that. Okay, I see. Ah, man, that kind of reminds you of little video games. Whenever you're playing those first-person shooters, you shoot someone dead and they got to respawn somewhere else, and you just right there, they drop something, you just pick it up and that's your equipment after that point. But it looks like he got another construct on board right there. I don't think it's too much of a powerful construct because per every artifact, including itself, right? So that means it's a 1/1 construct unless he equips it with something. Unless that's what this deck primarily does.
Well, right now he's got 2 constructs, so they're both 3/3s because that Shadow Sphere is an artifact as well. And if he equips that Shadow Sphere to any one of those constructs, it'll be a 4/4. But now we also see him get the Pyrite Spellbomb, and the Pyrite Spellbomb each makes those guys 4/4s. Now the question is, what is he going to do with the Pyrite? And my assumption is he's going to target one of the Phantasmal images, probably the one with actual counters on it, just so we can deal with that.
And okay, I like this. So it's just pretty much his deck. So you said it was Jund, but it looks like it's just artifacts and just beefing up all the constructs that he can produce with Urza Saga.
That's how it's panning out right now, but you can expect Unholy Heat, you can expect Tarmogoyf.
Tarmogoyf! I like saying that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the deck on the left, Jeff, is Jund Saga.
Okay, so Jund Saga, yeah. So Jund Saga is who is piloted by Vickers on the left. I'm gonna go ahead and after this first game, because of course it is a best of 3, I'm gonna go tell the guys to go ahead and put their phone out because it's a lot easier for us to see the phone as opposed to seeing the little tick markers or whatnot.
I believe we got giant 20-sided dice to help us out with that.
Giant 20-sided.
Yeah, I think they're almost like a pound a piece. I think. What's his name up at front knows where they are.
Oh, yes. That's going to be awesome. He taps 3. Yeah. Oh, no, he's swinging in. All right, so swings in with 3 humans, and of course, on declaration of one of the swings, we get a destruction for a human. I think that was like a kit. Wait, he scooped? Oh, yep. I think instantly he ended up scooping there. Oh my goodness, he went straight into siding. So go ahead, while I try to get those giant dice, how about you go ahead and let people know on stream, what would Vickers be siding and what would Daniel be siding for one another?
So when it comes to sideboard, we can probably expect to see, at least from human side, some form of graveyard hate to deal with the potential Tarmogoyfs and to deal with the Lotus. That is Vickers' companion, of course, it has been declared. Ultimately, from the Jund side of things, depending if Vickers can get away with it, we will see Alpine Moon. That will be something that we can expect to see come in and may or may not hurt the humans player. We can potentially expect to see more hand disruption. Right now, the matchup is fairly even between these 2 decks in my play testing, but the matchup does tend to favor Jund a little bit more. I want to say it's about a 55% 1% chance against humans, at least in humans' current state. So,
man, I can't find those pound dice, man, that you were talking about. But man, it sounds real interesting. In order to get a nice pound dice a piece and have them on the field, that way not only us, we can see it, but of course the guys that are watching the stream can see it as well. But yeah, this is the first round here on Mount Gall, and man, is it already off to a start. We had Vickers actually scoop against humans. I think Vickers just didn't quite have the hand. He had the spells to remove them, but I guess the humans swarm just as much as they get +1/+1 counters.
Well, humans is all about tempo. Usually you're not going to see a drop in humans greater than 3. And what really hurt Vickers right there was the fact that humans hit its source of removal, which was the Reflector Mage. The Reflector Mage is a 3-drop, 2/3 that says bounce target creature back to its opponent's hand. Then that player can't cast that card until their next turn. For tokens, it's just permanent removal. If Vickers were to play Tarmogoyf and Reflector Mage bounces the Tarmogoyf, he can't play that card for a full set of turn before he can play it again.
A full set of turn? Oh, okay. If he bounces it on his turn. Okay, because it's his following turn. But if he were to bounce the card on his turn, so if Daniel bounced Vickers' cards on his turn, then just his next turn is just whenever he passes.
No. So let's say you have a Tarmogoyf on the field. Daniel plays Reflector Mage, targets the Tarmogoyf, he passes. Vickers can't play that Tarmogoyf that turn. He he has to wait till Daniel has his next turn, passes again before he can play that turn.
Oh, so even when Daniel were to play it on his turn, Vickers still has to wait a full set of turn. Oh, snap. I didn't know about that one.
Reflector Mage hits hard, and it will do quite a bit of damage against Jund, slowing them down quite a bit.
Now, can you target anything with Reflector Mage?
No, just creatures.
Just creatures, okay.
Thank God.
I was about to say, you can target enchantment, artifacts, get them out of here for a full set of turn. That would have been, that's really strong right there. But, hey, it looks like 2020. We can see the life. I like that right there. This is game 2 in our first round here on Mount Gall, and I think we're ready to head to the mats.
Yep.
Woohoo! Yeah!
So we do see Acquisition of Kozilek coming there right out of the start. That is pretty decent against humans. If you could rip apart their hand, you'll be better off in the long term. Now, if I was Vickers, I'm going to be taking that Aether Vial, which he does.
Oh, okay. Aether Vial. And what does that card do?
Aether Vial is an artifact that at the beginning of your upkeep, you put a counter on it, and then you can put a creature with converted mana cost equal to the number of counters on Aether Vial onto the battlefield.
From your deck, from your hand?
Oh. And you could do it at any time, so there's no time restriction on it.
But just the fact that every upkeep you just get a token and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Oh, that's nice right there.
It's a May trigger too, so you can choose to leave it at 2 counters, you can choose to leave it at 3, you can choose to leave it at 1, whatever you're most comfortable with.
See, and that's always good to have in any type of card game. Whenever you have multiple options, it's always good. But whenever it's kind of like you only got one ability, or whenever it's a you must, it kind of limits your play style. You don't have many ways to move about it. But whenever you have a May trigger, man, that sometimes it's a good thing to have options.
And we do see Ragavan actually coming out. Whether or not that'll be relatively useful against humans, we'll see. It really depends on what he hits. I think he's just going for the manipulation right now, and that actually is a pretty good hit. That is on Vex, Sanctifier on Vex, and I did make the prediction that humans would bring in some sort of graveyard hate, and that's a pretty good card to bring in against Jund.
Oh, that is. Hey, you know what? You said Ragavan, but that Abu... That's a boo, man. That's a boo. That's Aladdin's a boo. He's too strong. I know when I started playing Modern, it seemed like everybody was playing a boo. It's real quick. Play it, swing with it, and then you get a treasure token. Look at the top card, and the top card, I guess, is what you were explaining to that graveyard hate for Jund. So I'm assuming that the play style of Jund is always has to do with your graveyard, whether it's Surveil, whether it's playing from the graveyard or what.
Not really. Jund is arguably the most fair deck in Modern. And the reason we bring that up is because it trades creatures 1 for 1, or it trades removal spells 1 for 1. And so it's just a matter of hitting your removal spells and hitting your creatures on time. Now, the only reason this specific variant utilizes the graveyard a lot is because of that Lotus there. Normally, Jund only has 1 card, maybe 2 cards that mostly interact with the graveyard, Tarmogoyf and Scavenging Ooze. But since he's now playing the Lotus, that's 3 cards, and it's actually a very smart move. More so now than it was in the past, bringing Graveyard Hate. In the past, it was fair just to deal with Tarmogoyf, but at this point, Tarmogoyf is outclassed in most modern meta. The only time you'll actually see Tarmogoyf at this point are with Jund decks that are utilizing Lotus.
Oh, wow. I would have never even guessed. I would think that everybody would play Tarmogoyf too. I mean...
Back in the day. Unfortunately, he's kind of lost to power creep. But what kind of brought him back from the brink were the combination of Lotus and Dragon Rage Chandler.
Chandler, yeah.
Dragon Rage Chandler constantly fueling the graveyard, making his ability, his power and toughness happen quicker, and Lotus being able to recur it makes Tarmogoyf a lot bigger of a threat. Well,
it looks like Vickers is going down to a quick 10 lives as his opponent. Daniel is still at a nice high 17 lives, and it looks like he did get so he's got a boo on board, and then what did he end up playing?
That's the Tarmogoyf.
That's the Tarmogoyf! I like it. And so, of course, he's got his counters on there, too. He makes sure that he looks like he has different... I think he has 2 lands. He has an Inquisition in the drop area, and I think he also has a Thoughtseize, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
Inquisition is a great card. I actually was a new addition to my Modern deck, and it's not bad whenever you see the person having the partner that says you can only have costs of, I think, 3 or less or 2 or less in your deck.
Yeah, with Lotus.
Lotus is 2 or less, if I'm not mistaken, and Inquisition does the same thing as Thoughtseize at that point.
Yeah.
Oh, look, he's swarming right there. So Daniel is swarming with yet more human beings. You got one human with 3 markers, so 3+1+1s, one with +1+1, and then the rest, of course, he's pulling back so they cannot swing. So he's only swinging with that one right there.
Well, right now he's actually swinging with a total of 5 power. He does have a noble hierarch on the field, and that's going to give an exalted trigger.
Oh.
And so that's why Brandon just went down to 5.
Oh man, so I'm wondering why Vickers did not block that swing.
Because he's not going to come out profitable. He would have had to trade the Ragavan and the Tarmogoyf to come out and kill that one creature.
Oh, so the fact of the matter is, to
Goyf's
kill it. Oh,
Goyf's
okay.
not strong right now. Goyf has land, sorcery, and creature engraved plus artifacts. So Goyf's a 4/5, and so that wouldn't have killed the that wouldn't have killed the dude, unfortunately.
Gotcha. Well, it looks like Vickers is going to go ahead and remove one of his creatures from board with a spell. And then after that, I think he's going to go ahead and swing. Why not? You got a Boo on board. Swinging in with a Boo. And, of course, on the attack trigger, he's going to go ahead and get a treasure token that can actually tap for any color mana and then reveal the top card of his deck. If it is any card other than a land card, he can actually cast it. Is it that turn or his next turn?
He can cast it that turn, but he actually audibled and he decided not to swing, which I believe is the right call. I think he's going to... Ragavan's not that good right now. It's really good in the early game, and it's really good when it's the only creature on field. Right now, there are just too many stronger creatures, and it's not profitable for Brandon to even swing with Ragavan right now. He's just going to leave it back as a chump blocker.
Okay,
and he's probably going to sacrifice it to the strongest thing on the field and leave back his Tarmogoyf. I would.
That is, I mean, is there any way in Magic for you to give trample to humans, or is that not like a white trait?
Oh, no, you can definitely give trample to humans. You can give trample to just about anything. It's just a matter of how are you going to do it.
How, and then the color that you'd have to have in order to do that. Well, it looks, I think he went ahead and threw the limp wrist, and I think it's back to Vickers' turn. Vickers right now at 3 mana, 5 lives. He's got Turn McGraw on the field along with a Chandler and then an Abu. And I think he's going to go ahead and swing with Chandler in the air, and then he's going to go ahead and cast... What's he casting
That's
there?
another Tarmogoyf.
That's another turn. Oh, he's got different alt variations of the Turn McGraw. So, of course, it's going to have I'm assuming it has the same counters as the one that's already on board.
Yep, which is perfectly fine, although that is a general... God, I can't remember the half of the name. So the long story short of this one is it gives +1/+1 to all creatures on the battlefield that are humans. When it enters the battlefield, he can exile any one card from the graveyard. So it's going to lower the power and toughness of all the Tarmogoyfs.
Exactly.
Anytime, he could also pay to sacrifice a couple of creatures and destroy a creature on the battlefield.
And it looks like there goes the Abu right there. I'm assuming that's the chump block that he was waiting on. I mean, that was definitely something that you predicted it, and it was, you know what, I'm going to hold on to him back. So you're saying that you get more value for chump blocking him than actually just seeing the top card of his deck and getting a treasure token?
For right now, yes, because he's not going to get through with Ragavan. Ragavan does not have unblockability. Ragavan is just a 2/1 in this scenario for 1, and that's not good in the slightest.
Oh, so it's not a when it attacks, it's when it deals damage.
Yes.
Ah, okay, I completely understand now. Yeah, no, I wouldn't swing with a Boo either. Unless you can find some way, like you said, make it unblockable or give some wings to a Boo. That way you can go ahead and do some damage and then get the treasure token and look at the top card of the deck. But there it goes. He's going to go ahead and charge the mana for his turn. So and then tap. Oh, it looks like he's going to go ahead and tap 3 to bring his partner from the side to his hand.
We do see that Lotus come in. And hopefully that Lotus is going to do a little something. But I just don't know with the field that is currently presented if Vickers can make it through. Daniel has a really strong humans field right now. We see the Imperial Recruiter. Imperial Recruiter can search for a creature through his deck. That's going to exile another card out of the graveyard, lowering the potential of the Tarmogoyfs. It's going to cause the Champions of the Parish to grow. And depending on what he gets with Imperial Recruiter, it will most likely grow his board. He's probably going to get Thalia's Lieutenant. He could possibly get another Champion of the Parish. He could possibly get some decks are running Mare of Avabrook at this point as another Lord for humans to run with. There's a lot of options humans have right now. I think I would, there's the Reflector Mage.
Reflector Mage. I like this deck a lot. I mean, I think out of all the decks I've seen commentating for Magic, this is the one that I've seen with the biggest board. The widest board, I don't think I've seen a board wider than this. And then on top of that, it's very interesting to see every time a human comes out on board, more markers are added to his creatures permanently. And man, I'm just waiting for that swing in. He might as well just swing in with everything he's got right here. He only has to deal 5 damage. What do you think?
I would wait one more turn, because right now he's going to swing and it's forcing the trade. He'll probably get rid of one of the Tarmogoyfs, which is fine. Dragon Rage Chandler doesn't have Delirium right now, so it's just a 1/1, so we do see the chump. And we see that one of the champions dies in exchange for 2 creatures. We see the fetch there. It's just not overall in favor for where Vickers is at. If he hits another land, he could possibly shock it in, play the Lurus, play Tarmogoyf, and be in a little bit better spot, but it's not going to be by much.
I think at 4 lives, there's hardly anything you can do. Oh, he just
there's
scoops
a scoop.
it. Scoops it right there. Oh my goodness, the humans just taking over and swarming. It's like a nice little army that you got right there. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that was it. A quick 2-0 by Daniel with humans. Now, in the meta, I don't know what's really prevalent. I mean, I know what I've seen, but I have not seen humans. Is humans considered rogue or meta?
Rogue, it's between the two, it's definitely in the meta. It's not tier 1 currently. It's definitely tier 1.5, if I had to guess, like just below the top decks, but it's still something you should look out for, especially in any given modern tournament. So,
oh, it looks like there's still, I don't know if they're still siding or if they're siding out right there. I mean, it looked like Vickers would scoop both games.
yeah. They're deciding right now.
They're deciding what?
No, they're taking apart their sideboard.
Deciding, not deciding.
Yes, they're deciding.
Oh man, that's what's up right there. So that was the first round here on Mount Gall. We have many, many rounds to come. Well, I say many, many, but you guys at least have what, 4 or 5 rounds?
Right now, I think we have 4
tonight. 4 rounds is going to be nice, guys. If you don't have anything else to do, go ahead and put us on your screen right there. If you got something to do, that's fine. You can keep us on your screen, but keep us like in your ear or something like that, in your headphones. Put us on the side. We're going to make sure we give you with the action, with the entertainment, the interactions between the cards, and of course, good old-fashioned modern, because I really do enjoy that. So don't go away. We'll be right back on Mount Gall, Magic the Gathering at Lotus. I'm your commentator,
Carl. How's it going? See you guys in a bit.
What's happening, Magic players? It's your hype boy, PRC.
Carl coming right back at you guys.
And I'm very excited to see this matchup, man. This is round 2 here on Mount Gall. This is Magic the Gathering at Lotus. And the reason why I'm excited, go ahead, ask me why I'm excited.
Why are you excited?
Because this man, I saw this man in round 1, got it in 2 with Millimog. I didn't even think Millimog was meta. What? Okay, so is it considered rogue? Is it considered a meta? What is it considered?
Millimog. So I'd actually have to see what kind of variant he's playing. If you mean Ulamog and then it exiles the top card, so he's playing Tron. Tron technically isn't meta right now, but it's a deck that is just like humans, always in the mainstay, and it should be something that players consistently worry about.
Yeah, no, that's my nickname that I give to Ulamog right there, because that man, what is he, is a 10-10, swings in, on declaration of swinging, the opponent mills 20 cards from the deck. That's Millimog right there.
It's actually worse than that. It's exiles.
Oh, it exiles. Oh, that is worse. So all you guys that are playing Term McGraw or Chandler or whatnot, y'all gonna have a hard time with it. And with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and head to the mats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right here. So he starts off with, what card is that right there?
So that's Expedition Map. So it's a 1-drop artifact. You pay 2 colorless. You search your deck for any land card, put it into your hand.
Any land. So you're going to go ahead and ramp up in order to get Ulamog. That's what you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I like it. And Ulamog, how much? I know it costs like an obscene amount
Costs 10.
It costs 10 to bring him out. Mm-hmm. But of course, you're going to cheat him out. It looks like Vickers is going to go ahead and start off. He has Chandler on board, and then he has the TV right there, Bobble. And he's going to go ahead, and I think Bobble is 0. And then he sacks it to look at the top card of his opponent's deck, and then he draws at the end of his end step or the next upkeep?
Next upkeep.
Next upkeep. Okay, there we go.
So right now he's just trying. He's not in a good position. Unholy Heat's not going to do a lot against Tron if it's one of the creatures. Against the Planeswalkers, it might do a little bit of damage. Right now, though, Johnny already has 2 Tron pieces. He is currently just looking for his last one. And the goal with Tron, of course, is to be consistent. So if you don't have 2 out of your 3 Tron pieces to start, or a way to find 2 out of the last Tron piece, or an additional Tron piece, it's more or less a hand you're going to want to mulligan. Johnny's very consistent. He's gone all the way down to 3 cards before Tron and still has been able to come out on top. That's the way Tron can work. Is even on the backswing, even if they mull all the way down to 3 cards, they still have potential to come back and win the game.
Looks like Tron is going to be doing some, taking some damage here, because not only is Chandler swinging, but we got Abu swinging in too, and it looks like he did reveal a card that was a non-land. He does get a treasure token, and I think he chooses not to play it. So then the card goes to exile, or does it go?
It's going to go to exile. No matter what, he's not going to be able to play very many of the cards from Tron, because they're all 6, 7, 8 drops, 9 drops, 10 drops, what have you. So it's going to be very hard for Jun to mount that amount of mana. Right now, he did just hit Johnny for, I believe, is 5. They're going to finish up some last-minute searching, probably readjust that, and I believe the life total should be about equal right now, 15-15.
Okay, no, that's very interesting right there, because, I mean, we see Vickers, and of course, I see more of Vickers' variant of deck, more than not, but I really wanted to see this man here, because, like I said, I saw Ulamog on board, and I was just like, how did this man get it on board? Because I feel like that is my type of deck right there. You got a boss card, and the boss card does a lot of damage when it comes out. I guess I'm traditional and I'm old-fashioned in that sense with having boss monsters in card games.
Oh, that's perfectly fine. I mean, the way Tron wins is you have 7 mana, which is what he has now. He has the power plant, he has the mine, he has the tower. So with those 3 lands, he produces 7 mana, and now he plays his Planeswalker, Karn, Liberated. +4 is he gets to exile a card out of his opponent's hand. -3, he exiles a permanent. And then -14, he effectively restarts the game with all the cards he exiled underneath that Karn in play.
Oh my goodness. So that's actually a really good card, but he had to tap, I'm assuming he tapped 3 for it.
You tap 3 to produce 7 mana to get that Karn.
Oh.
So right now, there's not really a lot that Jun can do against that. If Johnny did what do you think? I think he actually just outright plussed it. So right now that Karn's actually at 10 loyalty.
10 loyalty. So this Planeswalker game, oh, he dashed it. He dashed Abu. He's swinging in with the Chandler and a Boo. He's gonna take the damage, and it looks like that card is gonna be revealed.
Yeah.
And if he, like I said, if he chooses not to reveal, then that card just stays exiled. Correct?
If he chooses not to cast it, yes. And that's a Tron land. He's not going to cast it. He's going to play his Urza Saga. He's going to get his Bob out. The Ragavan's going to go back to his hand, and hopefully he can gain some momentum here.
Game momentum. Okay, so what's that card that he played out on the board? It looks like it might be a chump blocker of some sort, or
no, that is Dark Confidant, or better yet, known as Bob. The story behind that one is it is one of the first cards that was made by a guy who won the Pro Tour. As the reward, they used his likeness at the time. The card no longer has his likeness on it, unfortunately. A lot of people actually really enjoy that older art. Instead, it looks like Skrillex now. But it's a 2-1 for 2 that says reveal the top card of your library. Put that card in your hand. You take damage equal to that card's converted mana cost. And that's not in addition to the card that you still get to draw. So effectively, it's drawing you another card at the extent of some amount of life loss. And in this variant of John, you're only losing 1 to 2 life max. So it's actually very good right now.
I see right there. Now, the life is just a resource, man. People take damage just to take it. And I realized that too when I ended up building my deck, and I realized, wow, I was losing life just to draw cards. And so it looks like he threw the limp wrist. And now it is Johnny's turn. Johnny at 12 lives. We have Vickers at 15 lives. Johnny goes down to... Oh no, 7 lives. Goes down to 7 lives right there. Man, I want to see him bring him out, man. I want to bring him out.
It's going to be really hard right now. Johnny is currently on 8 mana, which isn't nothing to sneeze at. The problem is he has to deal with these threats on board. He has to get an Oblivion Stone. He has to actually start minusing the Karn to prevent some of this damage. He has to get a Wormcoil Engine, something in order to sustain himself right now. The Karn is strong, but the Karn has a problem, at least against this variant of John, against this variant of low to the ground decks winning by itself.
Well, it looks like Vickers is going to go ahead and tap 3 in order to bring his companion to hand. Then he throws the limp wrist, and now we got Johnny drawing a card, and then he actually warps the land? What? He exiles the land? Is that what he did?
Yep, he exiled the Urza Saga.
Ooh, exiles Urza Saga. And then it looks like he's going to go ahead and replace a card. So he takes a card, replaces it, and draws a card. And I don't know what he's missing in his pieces, but that Planeswalker put in some work right there. Warping a land like that, exiling a land, oh, that's too strong.
It's strong, I just don't know if that's the correct call. I think, personally, I would have gone for the Dragon Rage Chandler. Sustain myself on a little bit of life right now because he is dead to a Lightning Bolt. He is dead to a majority of things. If there's another Ragavan in his hand that he could dash out, he's dead to that, which apparently there is not. So right now, Johnny's going to go to 5, unless he can do something.
Unless he's tapping for something. Looks like he's tapping for something right here.
He's going to tap his other land and blow up all 1-drops. So he's going to go to 5.
Oh.
Which is probably the reason why Vickers didn't play the Ragavan in his hand.
So he assumed that he was going to do that, or I guess he was playing around the fact that he can blow up all 1-drops.
Yep. And so right now, Vickers is actually going to put him on a clock. He's got 1 turn to come out on top. So actually going back to it, I don't think I would have gotten the Dragon Rage Chandler if I knew I had the engineered explosives, or not engineered explosives, I'm sorry, the land that he had. I think I actually would have gotten the Dark Confidant. I kind of forgot that he had it there. That way I could still blow up his 1-drop and prevent a complete turn of damage and prevent a little bit of card draw, put a little bit of additional pressure on. So we'll see if he exiles another permanent here, which I think he will.
Exile that land. Oh, he's being rude. I like it. I like that. See, that unfortunately, that's what this deck has to do in order to combat meta right here. Okay, what was that he played right there?
That's Oblivion Stone. It's a 3-drop that says destroy all non-land permanents if you tap it and pay 5 mana, or you can tap it and pay 4 mana to put a fate counter on something. Anything with a fate counter on it will avoid destruction by Oblivion Stone. But right now, it's not really looking good for Johnny. He keeps on exiling the lands, which in this case I don't think are going to help him out in the long run. I think he actually does want to get rid of those Dragon Rages. He wants to get rid of the Bob. He wants to get rid of additional value. We're going to see that Karn go away.
Oh, man, that was saving him too. Ooh.
Just a little bit. That's going to put 5 damage on the field, and that is going to solidify the game.
Blows up everything.
John's going to take
a
little bit more to deal.
I mean, okay, but Johnny is playing this very well. For you saying that he's behind, he's doing very well in my opinion. You know,
He is.
the fact that he's defending, he's doing what he can. He's down to 3 lives. Vickers right now, I think, is at 8 lives unless he shocks again. And yeah, he's gonna go ahead. He's down to 5 lives. I'm always down to the wire. I like this.
For Vickers, the life total definitely is a resource at this point. Jund actually doesn't usually win by damage. If Johnny gets a card called Ugin the Spirit Dragon, it's definitely going to put Vickers on the back foot. But Johnny needs something right here. He needs a Wormcoil Engine, and hope to God that Vickers doesn't have like a Unholy Heat. He definitely needs a bit of a hit right now.
I don't know. I think Johnny's drew into another Karn. So, I mean, I'm assuming if he drew into another Karn, he can play it and warp the monkey and get him out of there and start trying to do a little defense as well.
It'll prolong it, but the fact is he has that Ren in 6 on the field, and that Ren in 6 is prolonged damage. I think you definitely get rid of the Ragavan here right now.
Oh, yeah, you got to get rid of the monkey. The monkey's got to go. Abu has got to go.
But I believe Vickers has the win in his hand. He has a Pyrite Spellbomb, which, if I remember the text on that, it can deal 2 damage to any target. And he has the 1 damage with Ren in 6.
Oh, there he goes right there. He tapped 3.
Yep. But he actually did it a different way, but he still ultimately got the game.
It looks like Johnny ends up scooping there. Johnny going down to 0. Vickers still at 5, or stayed at 5 lives. He was going down and dwindling. But man, I want to see some stuff, Johnny. Let's go, Johnny. Like I personally, I wanted to have Johnny out here because, like I said, I saw Ulamog. I saw he was swinging in. He was doing some damage. I'm like, man, that's my creature right there. I know in other card games, like I said, I like a good boss monster that when the boss monster's out, it's kind of hard to get rid of him, and he just does damage whatever he does. He's just wreaking havoc, man, because I know in another card game that I'm playing, my boss monster comes out, the opponent takes 2 cards from their hand and puts them to the bottom of the library, otherwise known as bottom deck, and then on swing as well. So it's on entering and swing, and I try to get as many as I can out there, so when it ETBs and when it swings, boom, it does damage. I wonder if you can get a whole bunch of Ulamogs on the board at once.
You can't because it's a legendary creature.
Oh! They did my man's wrong.
There's a couple of weird cards out there that say the legendary rule doesn't exist, and if you were to get those cards out with Ulamog, then yes, you could have multiple. Those cards do not see modern play, though.
They do not see modern play.
They rarely see EDH play, to be honest. But,
I'm assuming because do you tap for a crazy amount or something like that?
They're just too fringe. It's the one that I can recall off the top of my head is called Mirror something. Mirror Gallery. Yep, Mirror Gallery. It's a 5-drop artifact that literally says the legend rule does not apply.
Yeah, that's 5. It takes a while for that to happen. Yeah, you probably have the first Ulamog out before you have that card. Oh man, but hey, this is, guys, if you're just tuning in, this is the 2nd round, and we got right here, we got Vickers playing Jund, and we got Johnny playing Millamog, man, or Tron as I say, but I like Millamog right there. Unfortunately, Johnny ended up taking the L for the first game, where they're siding right now, and then we're about ready to hit into the 2nd game, into the 2nd round. So what do you think, Millamog? Millamog's got to have some graveyard hate.
It's a given that he's going to have graveyard hate. That's going to be one of the prime things he's going to bring in. I do think he takes out some number of Karn in this matchup. Karn doesn't seem that great initially.
What?
It's Karn doing a 1-for-1 against Jund. Jund is going to come out on top usually, and Jund does have access to Unholy Heat, which can annihilate the Karn depending on what mode Johnny takes. I do think you bring in potentially more worm coils. You bring in potentially a few other things. Vickers, on the other hand, is probably going to get rid of his Inquisitions of Kozilek because against Tron, they are pretty useless. You're just taking either his Chromatic Star, Chromatic Sphere, Expedition Map, Ancient Stirrings, all of his 1-drops effectively, or maybe even his Oblivion Stones. But outside of that, he's not really going to have a lot of hits.
Yeah, no, Inquisition is... I know when I first got into the game, and I have a black and red modern deck. So I was just like, I was playing, and I wasn't playing with Thoughtseize or Inquisition or anything like that. And then, my buddy gifted me a playset, man. Marcus is not here right now. Marcus need to get over here quickly, but he gifted me, and I've been using them, and man, they're very strong. And just like he told me, if anyone plays a Larsis, the companion,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like that's a given because Inquisition is going to hit anything and everything in that deck because one of the requirements of having him as a companion is the fact that you can only have was it permanence 2 costs or less within the deck.
Yep. Lurus definitely makes it so Inquisition's a very popular hit. Against against Tron, Inquisition's just not really that good.
Because you really can't hit anything. Inquisition hits anything but non-land cards, correct?
No, that's Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize hits
Oh.
anything non-land cards. Inquisition hits costs 3 or less, and there's not a lot of 3 or less in Tron.
Ah, okay. So it's pretty much a dead card at that point. So he's siding them out. Oh, they're cutting. They're trying to figure it out. And if you guys don't know, actually, this is a very cool thing for me. Whenever you mulligan, you actually so you'll look at the top 7. If you mulligan, you'll shuffle. You'll still draw 7, but you'll actually bottom deck 1 less card for every time you mulligan, which is actually a lot better than when I was playing. It was if you're going down, you draw 6 instead of 7, so you see 1 less card, but then you get to scry on top of that. I don't know if the scry still happens here or you just see the 7, then you just bottom deck right after that.
You effectively see the 7 in bottom.
Oh, you see the 7 in bottom. Okay.
I personally was more of a fan of the scry variant because it gave combo a little bit less.
Oh snap!
Variance,
We're going to the mats. Oh man, I just digress. I saw a boo on board and boom, we had to go. So he threw out a boo for turn 1 and actually turn 2. I'm assuming that Johnny went first, of course, because Vickers took the game and we're swinging it with a boo. And of course, the effect is going to go off. We're going to go ahead and reveal the top card, get a treasure token that taps for any color, which is actually really good. Oh, a boo put in work right there.
Yeah. We see the expedition map. I did forget to mention Vickers probably ended up bringing in some number of Alpine Mood against Tron. Tron should be pretty good, and we're actually going to see a Void Mirror, which is actually going to really hurt Tron. Void Mirror says if no colored mana was spent to cast a spell, that spell is instead countered.
What?
So that forces Tron to go get a forest right now.
Oh my goodness! Oh, that's rude. Oh, you're talking about graveyard hate. Oh, that's artifact hate. Oh my goodness.
Well, it's not just artifact, it's any colored spell, so it's going to stop Ulamog, it's going to stop any of the Planeswalkers Tron uses. Right now, Johnny's kind of locked into getting either his 3rd Tron piece or getting a forest to supplement that color so he could actually spend color mana to cast 1 spell a turn.
So okay, so he has to cast 1 spell a turn, and the mana he uses, one of them has to be
Green.
Green. Okay, so he can't do multiple unless he has multiple green lands.
And then we do see the forest there. So right now, Johnny can effectively cast 1 spell.
Oh, okay, I got you. So I'm assuming that any ordinary Tron deck doesn't really have any basic lands in it.
No, they usually do.
Oh, they usually do. Okay.
For this exact instance. They usually have, I would say, I've seen some Tron decks run the lighter gamut of 4, and some Tron decks run the heavier gamut around 7.
Oh, okay.
It really depends on what kind of build you're going for, because they do have a playset of each Tron land. They have some number of other lands that they utilize, and then they'll of course have their basics. So
I got you. Yeah, no, if you're playing Tron, yeah, you know, you gotta cover your weakness, and with an enchantment out there like that, no, definitely gotta cover it up. Johnny at 16 lives, we got Vickers at 18 lives, and of course he did take game 1. Does have an Urza Saga, and I think it's at 2 markers, so it's on the 2nd stage, and I'm assuming the next turn he will get a construct, and that construct will be detrimental for as many artifacts as he has, and yes, that includes the treasure tokens that were produced by Abu.
He's actually sacrificing those treasure tokens to get more permanent artifacts, as in the expedition map and the chromatic star. He's probably going to get that token now, and he's going to be a 1, 2, 3. It'll be a 4/4 construct.
Oh man, this is nice right here. And of course, we're gonna go ahead and I think he's gonna go ahead and mark down live. No, he's just gonna charge for the turn. So he just drew, he charged, and now he's thinking on what to do here. Oh man, come on, man, don't have me in favor of you, and I don't get to see Ulamog at all. You know, this whole stream, man. Oh,
it's a difficult choice right now. He does have 8 mana. He has access to the full Tron piece plus the forest, so he can play 1 effective spell this turn. It's just a matter of what is he going to play.
Also, but he doesn't tap a force. He has to tap a force unless he's gonna be playing something that has mono with. Okay, there he goes. So taps the force, and now
He's going to get 4-drop Karn. So this 4-drop Karn can make an artifact a creature. This 4-drop Karn says artifacts can't activate, so those 2 artifacts on Vickers' side are effectively useless. And then he can minus it to search his sideboard for a card and put it into his hand. Now the card
wait, search his sideboard. We're talking the sideboard that you switch in between games. Oh my gosh!
This Karn allows him to effectively do that. It's just a matter of what is Johnny going to get right now. I think he is, again, locked in for a little bit, but he may get the Wormcoil Engine. He might get a Trinisphere, which will lock Vickers out for a little bit. There's a lot of things he can do, but realistically, he needs to get rid of this Void Mirror. That's his biggest issue right now.
Essentially, this man really doesn't need to switch out his main with his side, since he can just go into his side whenever he wants.
Correct.
Oh, that's good.
Usually, Tron will play, I would say, 10 Silver Bullets. Silver Bullets, the term for us means one-ofs. And that's so he can get him with his Karn, that specific one.
Okay.
And the other 5s will be duplicates, and he'll interchange some number of those in the main, and he'll leave the rest in the side, so he could still get those if he needs to with that specific Karn.
Okay, so silver bullets are considered one-ofs. Okay, I got you. Because the terminology silver bullets, I've actually seen it as like a weakness for a certain deck. So hey, if I'm going to be playing against you, Jund, and I'm going to shut out your graveyard, I'm going to put in graveyard hate, or otherwise known as silver bullets. Like, you know, the weakness to a werewolf is a silver bullet right there. But that's good to know that a silver bullet in this game means one-ofs.
Silver Bullets is generally one-ofs, and they'll be very strong one-ofs for certain situations.
Very strong one-ofs, so like ultimates. Oh, I see. Okay, I got you.
I don't anticipate this Karn sticking around, though, very long. That Construct is a 4/4 right now. The Ragavan is a 2/1. He's going to make another Construct, potentially, before searching his deck for... Yep, there's the other Construct. And we'll see him search his deck more than likely for a Shadow Spear, and it'll come into play and potentially attach itself to one of the constructs as well.
Wait, the Shadow Spear?
No, he's getting a Pithing Needle instead.
It comes into play just like that?
It'll avoid the Void Mirror, and he's actually getting a Pithing Needle. He's more than likely going to name Ugin in this case, but he might name this Karn. I think... If I were Vickers, I would name Ugin, or I would name Oblivion Stone. In this case, leaning more towards the Oblivion Stone, because Ugin cannot deal with the Void Mirror.
Just swings in with a Construct and a Monkey right there. And I think all that went into the Planeswalker to try to get him off board. Because if I'm not mistaken, this is a smaller version of the big guy that we've seen that he was exiling land with.
Yep.
Also, okay, so every Planeswalker has a small variant and a big variant.
No, that's just how it sometimes works out.
Oh, okay, I'm about to say it, because obviously, the bigger Planeswalker is the one that's actually going to have more detrimental effects, but the smaller one, too, it looks like has some pretty decent effects with it, too. Woohoo! All right, so it looks like he got rid of his Planeswalker, and he doesn't have much on board right now. Vickers actually looks like he has advantage, not only by board advantage, but hand advantage as well. I think they actually might be similar in hand size. But yeah, no, the constructs on board are gonna be they're gonna be taken over, and it looks like he plays his Planeswalker as well.
Yeah, right now Johnny's not in a good spot. As I said earlier, if I was Vickers, I got the Pithing Needle, I would have named Oblivion Stone. Johnny's Oblivion Stone then becomes useless. He is then strictly relying on Ugin to clear the board, but the problem is Ugin has an ability where you minus X and you exile all creatures or all non-land permanents with cost X or less, as long as they have a color.
As long as they have okay.
And so on that board right there, that's only going to get rid of that Renin 6 and that Ragavan.
Yeah, because everything else doesn't have a color. The constructs, the artifacts, they don't have a color. And it's not going to do too much for Johnny in this situation.
Correct.
I mean, constructs is just something that I see in the meta all the time. Every deck throws in Urza Saga. Why not? Especially a deck that is heavily uses artifacts.
Yep. And so there we see the Wormcoil Engine. Johnny's holding to buy some time with Wormcoil Engine. So that card there specifically is a 6-drop 6/6 with lifelink and death touch, and then when it dies, it puts out 2/3/3s with one having lifelink, the other having death touch.
Oh, that's nice. It's kind of like a creature that defuses.
Pretty much.
And the keyword skills, they actually separate between its pots.
Yep.
Oh, I like that. So he'll be able to. So he blocks with that creature, but the thing is, with the creature that it produces, those creatures can't block. He just takes the rest of the damage, right? It just to say, if let's say a Boo and the two constructs swing, he blocks the construct, and then the two creatures that come out can't really block the monkey or the other construct.
Not till next turn.
The following turn. Okay,
but it's not going to matter because that death touch is going to get rid of one of the constructs. And the lifelink will probably prevent the other damage from the other construct, so it should be perfectly fine.
Oh, okay. So the lifelink is gonna help him out, so he'll take less damage
It'll blank two creatures as long as he doesn't have Unholy Heat. If he has Unholy Heat, then you're gonna see that Johnny's gonna be in some big trouble.
Oh, it's gonna be unholy. He swings in with both the constructs and a Boo. And of course, he's going to probably go ahead and block one of the constructs, which means a Boo is going to go ahead and do some damage. And you know what that means. A treasure token and revealing the top card of his deck to see if he can actually cast it against his opponent. If not, it is just exiled.
Johnny's actually debating on whether or not he wants to kill this Ragavan here.
Get it off board. I mean,
the better call is definitely to get the constructs because you will trade the construct at least.
But he produces another construct. Oh, man. And then, of course, on top of that, the monkey deals damage. So then he's got a reveal. He gets a treasure token. That's going to put another 1/1 counter on his constructs because it's another artifact. And then, of course, we got tokens being produced. One of them having lifelink and the other having death touch. That's so unique. I like that.
Yeah, Wormcoil Engine was great for its standard. It's great for modern. And you do see it seeing play in Legacy and Vintage on occasion as well. The card is just an overall solid card.
No, I like it. I really do like cards that are just well-rounded right there. Like that monkey, I'm not gonna lie, it's well-rounded, but it's annoying, man. Especially playing against that monkey where they just dash it in and swing and poke you, and then on top of that poke, let me get a mana I can use whenever I want, and then let me see the top card of your deck, and then hopefully it's not a card that you needed the following turn.
Yep. So right now Johnny tapped for a total of 8 by the look of it. He played that Karn there.
Oh, that's the big boy Karn.
No, that's a small Karn.
But you tapped 8 because he had to put forest into it.
He put a forest into it, but he still has mana floating, so I don't know what he's going to utilize that other mana for. He has another forest down there below, as you can see. So currently he has should be a total of 5 mana floating. So he might have searched up another Wormcoil, or he's just going to let it go.
Oh man,
am I missing something? I can't really see over his hand. Does he have duplicate lands, or does he have one of each?
I looks like he has.
Oh, he has an Alpine Moon on the field. Okay, that's what it is. So Vickers has played Alpine Moon. The Alpine Moon has effectively neutered one of his lands, so we could probably assume that it is the Urza's Tower. So what Urza's Tower no longer taps for 3 mana. Instead, it taps for 1.
Oh, man.
So we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in total right now. But it also says for effectiveness that it basically makes Tron useless right now. So he tapped all that mana for 4. He's hoping to get rid of the Alpine Moon. But right now, the constructs are just going to gain so much advantage that the Wormcoil Engine tokens aren't really going to do much here.
Vickers really did side very well against this man right here because he's just shutting him down and then, of course, swinging in with 2 constructs and then a Boo. He's going over and he's counting all of his artifacts just to let him know what the damage is for these constructs. And then, of course, a Boo right there is just an annoying little guy. Oh, no, he's swinging into the Planeswalker with a Boo. So he doesn't have to worry about the damage taken to him. But one of them has Death Touch and one of them has Lifelink. So it's going to go ahead and help him. He's going to kill one construct and then block another one. But he's going to go ahead and gain some life too. So it actually keeps him in the game a little bit longer.
Yep.
Oh, I like this right here. But it looks like the Planeswalker is gone. And so now we have a clear board on Johnny's side of the field while Vickers just has an astronomically huge board. And I don't know, just by what I see, it looks like Vickers might end up taking game 2.
Johnny needs a lot here. He needs to hit more than likely 2 lands to go run a runner into some of his planeswalkers, potentially cast another Wormcoil to stall out. Play all his dust would be another option.
This man needs
we
a board
actually see
wipe.
the ensnaring bridge there. The ensnaring bridge will stop the constructs for a solid minute.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay, so it says artifacts can't swing, I'm assuming?
No, it says creatures with power greater than the number of cards you control in your hand cannot attack.
Hey, that definitely will slow them down, and all Johnny has to do is just make sure he plays cards so that the amount of cards does not exceed the power of the constructs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, all right, I see what he's doing. I see what you're doing, Johnny. And you trying to get Ulamog out there for me, and I appreciate that, boss. If you can get him out there, I will be so content. So content. But it looks like he ends up throwing the limp wrist. And now on Vickers' upkeep, look how many cards he had to untap. Golly. What a board.
It's a lot. It's a lot. It looks like Johnny has 2 cards in the hand, so that Ragavan will still get through. That Renin 6 will still get through. That Pyrite Spellbomb can be recursive. Vickers still has ways to win this, and if he gets rid of the Ensnaring Bridge, that will shut down Johnny completely and potentially kill him this turn.
Definitely, and he does have white, so there's some potential for him to exile an enchantment.
Vickers actually isn't running white. What's going to do it for him is actually going to be the red or the green, because Ensnaring Bridge is actually an artifact.
Oh, you know what? It's hard to see, but it looks like I'm thinking it's. Hey, all right, it's black, green, and red. Black, green, and red. All right.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, he has access to green, so he can destroy enchantments, can't he?
Yep.
Okay, I know green is destruction of enchantments and so on and so forth.
So the Ragavan's going to get underneath the field there, and it's going to get rid of that Sylvan Scrying, which actually could really help out Johnny here. Search up another land. But we also could potentially see just a lot of struggle on the Trong side, I think, is just where we're at this point.
Nah, he's struggling, but he's hanging on, man.
He's trying.
Hang on, Johnny. Come on, you'll find the answer. You'll find the answer. And you know, if you don't find the answer and Vickers ends up taking it, you ran out of time, bro. You ran out of time. That's all. That's all.
There it is.
Yeah, because man, he's holding it. He's holding it down. And you know, I always got to give mad respect to, people, not only when they don't play meta, but when they're actually holding up against it, when it seems like all is lost, that Vickers could have won a couple of turns ago, he's still kicking, man. He really is. You got to give props to these players. I mean, it's 2 different atmospheres, playing under the camera and playing while you're not being seen by a whole bunch of people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's very true.
So he's going to go ahead, and I think he stacks his lands. I thought he was going to go ahead and tap for something, but I guess he's not. He's just waiting. He's stacking them up, and it looks like he's going to go ahead and pass the turn. So he threw the limp wrist, and now it's Vickers. He's going to go ahead and untap, upkeep, draw a card. Of course, increase. He's gone to another stage in the Urza Saga. He's going to go ahead and sack it, and it looks like he's going to search for a card in response. Oh, got the TV. He got the TV. He's going to go ahead and change the channel and look at the top card of his opponent's deck. Man, that's one powerful channel.
It can be.
Um,
Information is key.
It is, but also it does add another +1/+1 to the constructs because the TV is an artifact, but I don't know how good that's going to do him because he still has that enchantment out on board that prevents his constructs from swinging. But Abu is still doing damage. Look at him swinging in, getting yet another treasure token, which increases the power of all the constructs. Man, we're right. Like I don't know what Johnny's doing, but that monkey, it's that guerrilla warfare, man. That's that guerrilla warfare.
Right now, what Johnny more than likely has in his hands are 7 drops and higher because he didn't play anything last turn.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to really hurt him because that land that he just exiled would have given him 7 mana to potentially play something. Until he plays another card, that Ragavan's going to consistently get under.
All right, so Johnny drew for his turn, and he's tapping 2, and he's tapping for...
Sylvan Scry.
Sylvan Scry. Let's get that land.
Yep, it's going to get a land, and he's going to put it into play. And he's still not going to be able to play anything this turn, but next turn, hopefully we'll see a little bit more out of him. Unless he's holding back just like some other random card that we aren't positive about.
I don't know. This man needs a board wipe is what it looks like. And so there's the land that he ends up searching, and I'm assuming he's going to play that land for his turn.
Mm-hmm.
And then after playing it, he puts a dice on there. I don't know if this is a type of saga land or if this is just a land that has can accrue counters.
So that land, basically how it reads is it enters the field with a 1 counter on it.
Okay.
You can pay X into it and put an additional X counters onto it, and then you could pay 3, and effectively you pop the land and you destroy every creature, or every permanent on the side of the field, every non-land permanent on that side of the field with converted mana cost equal to the number of counters on that land.
Oh, you should have went ahead and tapped a lot into that land. Oh.
You could tap as much as you want into it at any given time.
Oh, at any time. Oh, he's got this. He's got this. He showed his opponent, and now he's going to go ahead and taunt him. Hey, you know what? I got this many counters on this card. This is what he needed, but did it come in time? I do not know. Can he crack that on his opponent's turn?
Yes.
It might have come in time. He went ahead and threw the limp wrist, and now Vickers went and drew for his turn. And now Vickers is going to go ahead and do some shenanigans. It looks like he's sacking an artifact and drawing a card at the end of his opponent's turn.
Hopefully, right now, what Johnny will do is he will crack that at the end of Vickers' turn just for insurance purposes. That is going to get rid of that Alpine Moon. That is going to get rid of that Pithing Needle. That's going to get rid of the Ragavan, none of which is super prevalent. He really just wants to get rid of that Alpine Moon. That's going to be the biggest thing to get rid of. And ultimately, from that Alpine Moon, he's going to hopefully be able to play everything left in his hand. That's going to do... What is he there?
Wait. Okay, so I'm assuming he tried to get rid of that enchantment, and then he responds on the stack with a card that I'm assuming is going to counter?
Kind of. It's going to give hexproof.
Oh, so you can't target the enchantment.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was nice. Okay, he still got stuff up his sleeve. I like that. So if you guys weren't watching and you blinked or something, we had Vickers targeting the enchantment to destroy it, and then on the stack we had Johnny giving the enchantment hexproof, and so the spell from Vickers fizzled.
Mm-hmm. Which is actually super important. Johnny's going to go to 5 by the look of it, but he's actually going to pop that land and destroy all those 1-drops as I previously mentioned. I think
that's nice.
I think I would have waited till after combat on end step because he can play another land and get back that Alpine Moon.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just where I would have left it at, is at end turn done that.
And I would think end turn would be the best way, but I think maybe he was trying to prevent from his opponent exiling yet another card and another one of his pieces that he might have needed in order to try to clinch this game. So
I'm actually surprised Vickers got the Pyrite Spellbomb here and not the Alpine Moon instead. I think I would have just gotten the Alpine Moon to keep him off Tron a little bit longer. But we'll see where this is going to go. Right now, Johnny's at 6. He's not gone yet, but he's still on his left foot at the moment.
Oh, man, I hope that left foot is strong enough, man. Johnny had 6 lives. His opponent had 18 lives. Just played a land, the Urza Saga land. And, man, has it been putting in work in this game. Like I said, I've seen Urza Saga in quite a few decks, if not all the decks that I have actually played against in Modern. And it really can be detrimental. At turn 3, you get some big kahuna that gains 1/1 for every artifact, and it just goes very well with Abu creating those treasure tokens. And of course, you got every Modern deck playing the TV, the Bobble. I mean, there's just certain decks that I feel like there's a staple that goes in every single deck.
Roughly. There's a reason why there's a ban outcry for a lot of cards right now. I don't think we'll see a ban until Modern Horizons 2 stop printing. There's a lot of stuff that can be debated at this point.
So they're actually trying to make it to where they ban most of the staples, so you actually have to be unique and creative with your deck.
Kind of, yes.
Yeah, okay. All right. That's probably the same problem that we have in other card games too. You know, there are some certain staples or there's some certain OP strategies that people use in every single deck in the card game I play, or in another card game I play, excuse me, because I actually play Magic now too. So in another card game I play, and of course their ban list, there's ban lists all over the place. There's the actual ban list too. Man, they go all over banning stuff.
Ulamog.
Oh, he played it! Yeah! There's the Millimog! Well, I almost missed it. I thank you, man. Thank you. He got the Millimog out there. Won't be able to swing unless he can give it haste. Please tell me he can give him haste.
No.
Oh!
And he won't be able to swing because that ensnaring bridge works both ways.
Oh, what was the point?
To exile. He exiled 2 very important cards. He exiled that Lotus, and he exiled a few other things here. I don't know why he didn't hit the Voidmere. The Voidmere still seems like it's kind of a pain in the butt. I think I would have gone for the Voidmere and the Lurrus.
Oh, Oh man, this is kind of like, this is very anticlimactic, man. You're taunting me with the Ulamog, but you can't swing with the Ulamog to mill out your opponent. Golly! Oh.
That ensnaring bridge is now working against Johnny, but if anything, he'll have a way to get rid of his own ensnaring bridge. The problem is he probably will not turn and try to swing. That's just because one, those constructs are really big. If he does that, he will put himself to vulnerability and probably die on the crackback.
Okay,
He needs to establish a board
so
state.
Ulamog only exiles on ETB. He doesn't exile on swing as well.
He exiles 2 permanents on ETB, and then he exiles 20 cards from the library on swing.
Oh man, it needed to be both on ETB and on swing. That's what we call a game changer, game ender, clincher, boss card, man. Oh, it just seems so like there's like no threat. You know how whenever your parents would tell you, hey, go do your chores or else, and you already know what's an empty threat. I feel like that Ulamog is an empty threat for Vickers.
At this point, a little bit, but if Vickers can also destroy that ensnaring bridge before Johnny is able to establish board state, he'll actually come out on top because those constructs will kill him in the long run.
Oh wait, he's swinging in with the construct. So I guess Vickers, what he did was he got rid of some artifacts so that it actually does not have that much power, so that he can actually swing underneath the bridge.
He was able to swing. And he dealt enough damage with the Pirate Spellbomb because there were 4 artifacts on the field.
Oh, Pirate Spellbomb did him in, and he was at low lives. Woohoo!
Johnny needed to establish a board state, and getting rid of the Lotus was fine, but he probably wanted to get rid of the Pirate Spellbomb, the constructs, just about anything right there to establish a little bit longer of the game. But it was a well-fought game in the long run.
Hey, you know what? Hey, at least I got to give it to my boy Johnny. I had him up there because I want to see him play Ulamog. This man played Ulamog.
There you go.
Hey, you know what? Maybe next time I'm going to say play and win with Ulamog. That's what I got to say.
There you go.
That's that commentator's curse right there. Well, guys, that was the end of round 2 here on Mount Gall. This is Magic the Gathering at Lotus. I am your commentator, PRC.
Carl, I'll catch you guys in a minute.
And, yeah, don't go away. Don't go away. We got much more coming. Stay tuned. What's happening, Magic players? It's your hype boy, PR Son.
Carl coming right back at you guys.
And we are about ready to embark in round 3. Let me go ahead and change the standings for you guys. Round 3, it's actually going to be 2 different people this go around. I actually didn't catch their names. Do you know?
So we got JP.
So we got JP.
And then we got Dan. We've already seen Dan, of course. Dan is playing humans. We also have JP. Now, JP could be playing one of several different decks. Judging by the first few cards I just saw in his hand, though, it's probably going to be Panza, something that is a bit of an old school deck as well. So it's good to see that this deck is coming back on stream.
Oh yeah, and you know what? You gotta hand it to this guy with this mat right here. He told me, he was like, "Hey man, do you mind if I use my own mat?" I was like, "Oh, that's fine. You know, as long as it's PG, it's okay." He's like, "Oh no, it's good. You know, it's my mat. You know, my boy right here. He's no longer with us. You know, he's somewhere else." But I'm kind of glad that he actually like says something right after that, because you know that could have been an easy "he's no longer with us," and then don't say anything after all. And then I'm over here thinking, "Oh man, I'm sorry about your loss." He's like, "Oh no, he's in somewhere else. He just don't want to be there anymore."
Yeah.
So that's what he ends up telling me. So I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, no, he ended up just getting a picture of him, you know, in front of some mac and cheese.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's an inside joke or.
Oh yeah, big time.
Oh, big time inside joke. Oh, he's a cheesy man.
Oh yeah.
Or that's the only thing. That's the only thing he played in Magic or what?
No, it's not just mac and cheese. That's it.
We've
done some weird stuff around here. There used to be a player here by the name of Mac as well, and we actually assembled the Mactron once. We got a picture of Mac playing at a Pro Tour table or some event somewhere, and everyone came along and took 5 different pictures of him. Each one of the pictures focused specifically on a different body part, 1 being head, 2 being the arms, and 2 being the legs. So we assembled the Mac Zodia.
Ah, I like that. That's very unique right there. See, that's always cool when you guys can come together and do some, you know, some weird stuff, some stupid stuff, but some cool and fun stuff nonetheless. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. That's that camaraderie right there. That's that community. So, you know what? Diving into the Magic community, I'm actually, you know, I think it's pretty cool. I feel welcomed and it's awesome. You know, I have a modern deck. I have a commander deck. It's not CDH. It's just regular EDH.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, you know, I'm trying to build it, you know, trying to get it to where it's at, but I realized that commander can get very expensive very fast.
Oh, big time. There's a reason why, like, long-term investments, it is an investment game with commander. Especially if you want to see EDH.
It is what it is, and what it is going to the mats right here. We're about to see the humans, and so he taps 1 to play a human, I'm assuming.
Yep, so that's Champion of the Parish. We saw that already. JP, of course, has Wooded Foothills, and Dan is actually going to follow that up with another champion, so he's going to get in for 2. Potentially, JP is either going to fetch for a shock or up. We see the basic mountain, so that is probably leading me to think that we're going to see a lightning bolt here. And he's already put the Champion of the Parish in the graveyard, so it probably is the lightning bolt. Yep, there we see it.
There you go. No, lightning bolt is always a good card to run, especially when you're running mountains. It's just it's a 1-drop, 3 damage to target creature. Does it do player as well?
Yep.
Oh, that's too broken.
Player, planeswalker, creature. There's a reason why it is still held in today's regard to be the best burn spell of all time.
Oh yeah, the fact that you have multiple targets is pretty much any target other than land. And then how much is that lightning bolt anyways?
Price-wise? Like $2-3.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. See, that not only does it do a lot, but it's accessible to everybody coming in Magic. I like it. It's like a newbie accessible. That's what happens right there. Well, we got this man right here playing humans, swinging in once again. So plays a card, and of course, then we got that human that gains the markers. He's continuing to gain markers, swinging in. Oh, I like this. He's all about the hands, man. You know, just like my best friend were to say, he plays a card, gets a token, and off that counter on the card, swings in. All about the hands. All about the hands.
So we see the Champion of the Parish, the Thalia Lieutenant. That's going to put a 1/1 counter across the board. And then, of course, that is a new human to the deck. That is his own personal spice, as far as I know right now. I cannot pronounce the name. This is one of the new cards from Innistrad, the latest set. It is a card that basically says all your humans can tap for whatever color they want,
Oh.
and then you can pay 6 mana and put a 1/1 counter on each human on the board. It also randomly has protection from werewolves, but that part is never really going to matter in this meta.
Unless someone comes out with the werewolf modern deck and starts clawing everybody, you know, mauling them.
Perhaps. She has an inverse card in this new upcoming set where she has protection from vampires. That one might have a little bit more prevalence, but even then it's not going to be by much. JP's already on the back foot right now with his god there. His god basically says it eats a creature out of the grave. His opponent loses 2 life, he gains 2 life. Or if he eats a land, it excels him 1 mana.
Oh, he's tapping 4. He's tapping 4/4?
Bloodbraid Elf, so that's going to be a Cascade into a 3-drop or less.
Into a 3-drop or less, and it looks like he went ahead. So Cascade is look up a certain, so how many times it says Cascade on the card is as many times as you look up, right?
No.
Okay, how do you do
So
that?
Cascade says whenever you cast this card, reveal cards from the top of your deck until you reveal a non-land permanent with cost less than the Cascade's values. Bloodbraid is a 4-drop, so if he hits the first card that he reveals, that's a non-land permanent, that's just a non-land card, that's 3 or less, he gets that.
Oh,
so it could be Lightning Bolt, it could be Scavenging Ooze like we saw here. It's not going to be very good regardless right now. We're going to see JP do some chump blocks, which is fine, but the problem is he's not going to get an even trade. His creatures are just too weak at this moment in time to deal with this Champion of Perish, to deal with the Thalia's Lieutenant, to deal with the other creature that we see coming into play.
Yeah, no, the chum blocking is all he has to do. I mean, look at that. There's 6 counters on the champion, and then there's 2 counters on that card that you were talking about that was in the Innistrad set, which is his own personal spice. So this is okay, if I'm not mistaken with the colors, this is a green-white.
No, because there's also blue there. There's some red bits. Humans is a 5-color deck.
Is it really?
It's a 5-color deck.
Oh, man.
There are not too many 5-color decks in the format. Humans is one of them. We do see that JP here was able to get a Seasoned Pyromancer. That'll get him some more chump blockers on the board and hopefully put him in a better spot. He'll be able to chump block for days now, at least get those 3 big cards out of the way and hopefully establish himself a little bit more here.
This man over here using Charmanders as tokens. My man right there. Pokemon. Woohoo! Well, he went ahead and I say charge, but he threw land down for some mana. Let's see what he's going to do over here. I mean, I would just continue to swing in. You got humans at 13 lives. His opponent right now is at 10 lives. Them humans putting in some work right there. I wouldn't be, I mean, I don't know, because the last time you told me he just to hold back and then swing the following turn. Oh, it looks like he's not going to hold. He might hold back a little bit. The champion is not swinging in right now. I'm actually assuming that the champion would swing. He has the most counters on it.
The champion is going to swing, but right now what he did was he tapped his humans to generate mana because he is shy on mana right now. Pawns is doing Ponza things and destroying his basic lands and destroying his other non-basic lands. That's the point of Ponza, is to destroy your opponent's lands. And so he's going to only have 2 really strong creatures to do, and he's really relying off that new card from Innistrad to produce mana. So in this case, he's actually in a pretty good spot because of that 1 card.
Ah, so you're saying because of his tech, he's actually putting in work.
Yep.
Oh, you know what? It always makes me feel good when the spice that you put in, it just is so good. In fact, that your opponent is getting rid of your lands, and you're still producing lands because that card he popped in there said all humans tap for mana. And it's mana of any color, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
Oh, that's
and
good.
What he can do is if he decides not to swing, he could tap 5 humans and his 1 land, or tap any certain of combination thereof and just put 1/1 counters across the board as well.
Oh, that's right. He has that creature. He has to tap for 5 or 6 to do that.
6.
He has to tap for 6 to do that. All right, this man, it looks like he brought out another flame guy and then brought out 2 more tokens. So that flame guy, what is that all he does is just produce tokens?
No, he says discard X amount of cards in your hand. For each card, discard this way, draw a card.
Oh, draw. Oh, okay. And I'm assuming that's a tapped ability?
No, that's just ETB.
Oh, ETB? Okay, gotcha. ETB. Oh, man.
He does generate those 2 tokens as well for each non-land discarded this way. So the discard is a May. It does draw you 2 cards regardless.
Oh,
the tokens are not a May.
Oh, he's swinging in. This man said, forget this, bro.
Vice versa.
Oh, I'm swinging in, and he swings it for a lot of damage. Of course, he's gonna use the Charmanders, man. Charmanders get him out of here, but at the same time, like, yeah, you can only chump block for so long.
Correct.
Like, you only have 2 more copies of that flame guy that brings out the Charmanders. And then after that is like, what else are you going to use to chump block? Now, what is that card? You said it was a god card? Was it like a legendary? Or?
Yes, it's legendary. So it eats cards out of the graveyard, and whenever it eats a non-land card, effectively he gains 2 life, and his opponent loses 2 life. So his opponent currently is on a 6-turn clock. Those Seasoned Pyromancers, if you exile them from grave, also produce 2 more of those tokens.
Oh, if you exile them from grave?
Mm-hmm.
And do you have to tap anything or just exile?
You have to pay 5 land.
Oh, so 5?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so I'm assuming like flashback or what?
Kind of just like a very crappy version of it. But it still works. We do see JP, though, take a majority of that damage, go down to 3. I don't know necessarily if that's the best move in this case, but we will find out.
I don't know. It looks like this actually might be his last turn. He's down to 5 lives, and his opponent, he brought him down to 9 lives. But once the humans gets another chance, I think that's going to be game.
We see, Stormbreath Dragon. Haven't seen that one in a hot minute. So that is a 5-drop. 4/4 dragon with haste and protection from white. It has monstrosity for 7, or if he pays 7 mana, he gets 3/1/1 counters on it, and then his opponent loses X life, where X is the amount of cards in his hand. So right now he has 5 blockers. We do see his god come online.
Okay, so
he has 4 blockers. My bad. So he should be able to stonewall him fairly well right now.
Ooh, reflection. What is he reflecting? What is he reflecting?
He's gonna reflect the he's gonna reflect the god.
Oh,
I almost said the dragon, but I forgot the dragon's protection from white. So that's actually gonna put JP behind quite a bit right now.
Ooh, the reflection doing some work. The god goes back to hand, and of course he's gonna have to tap for the following turn if he survives. But then, of course, I would just say swing out. Swing out, take that damage right there. Take that damage, take the first game, and then go on to siding in game 2, man.
Potentially. Sometimes you want to see how far you can take it right now.
Boom!
So
yeah, come on, you gotta swing with the whole board. Come on, player. How you just gonna swing in with 2 attackers? They got 3 block. Wait, okay, so we got 1, we got 2, so he's gonna go ahead and block. And then, of course, since that creature has protection from white, it can't die to white.
Correct.
Oh, man.
You were probably correct, though. He should have swung out. Right now, JP's going to cascade with this Bloodbraid Elf. We'll see what he casts, and that's a Utopia Sprawl, and he scoops it up. He was hoping for maybe a Lightning Bolt, anything really to help him out in the long run. But unfortunately, you just didn't get it that time.
Man, see, sometimes you just like, go all in, man. Go in with the gas. Because, I mean, who's to say that what if he did draw into something that would have actually, like, got him the edge or cleared his opponent's board or something, and then what is a human guy going to do? Oh, man, I should have just swung out. He only had 5 lives. That's like the same thing as, so in DBS, you have 8 lives instead of 20 lives. And so whenever your opponent is down to 2 lives, why not just swing in at the opponent's leader and take the 2 damage instead of clearing the board and directing all your attacks away from the leader? Sometimes you just gotta go for it and just hit the gas to put the gas to the pedal to the metal.
Maybe Dan didn't feel like he was necessarily in the correct spot. Just because if he didn't win that turn, he would have had to deal with more chump blockers. He would have had to deal with the god again. There's a lot of situations where it might not have necessarily worked out, so Dan was playing it a bit safe. We can expect, though, that this time around, JP is going to be heavily aggressive. He's going to bring in some artifact destruction, and he's going to bring in this card called Anger of the Gods, possibly Sweltering Suns, to deal with Dan's human board. Dan, on the other hand, is going to bring in protection from red creatures. He's probably going to bring in some enchantment destruction to deal with these blood moons that JP has. So it's up in the air to see how things play out. If JP is able to land his blood moon within the first 2 turns and Dan does not have an Aether Vial, it'll probably be lights out for Dan in the long run.
Oh, man. Well, you know what? I'll tell you what the MVP was in that game. It looked like Dan might have not have gotten it because, of course, his opponent kept on getting rid of his lands. If it wasn't for that tech card that he put in there, he would not have gotten the game. He would have been stuck with 1 mana and definitely could have limited the amount of cards that he could have played.
Yep, absolutely.
Man, every human tapping for mana, that put in so much work. Of course, we're definitely going to see that card in the game. I don't know if he plays a play set of them, or I don't know if he actually sides them to try to test the waters. But I definitely, if you're not playing a play set after this game, I would shove them all in there.
It's definitely a card you actually don't want to play set of, because it's a legendary card. Now there are some legendary cards that you can argue.
Legendary.
There are some legendary cards that you can argue having a play set of. That one's probably not one of them. He probably has 2, maybe 3 of that card max in his deck. Thalia, you can argue, was once a card that you have a play set of. In this matchup, it's not the worst. If Dan could land a Thalia early turn, it will put JP back behind and force him to play potentially a fair game of Magic. But I wouldn't rely too much on Thalia at this point.
Yeah, no, man. Yeah, you got to rely on what you draw. And, they're right now shuffling. But what would you say to the viewers when you're playing Modern? There's a certain land that you want to play around. Is there like a set amount of land, or does it depend on the type of deck that you're playing to determine that count?
It depends on the type of deck. Some control decks want to go as high as 32 lands. Some aggressive aggro decks want to go as low as 15 to 17 lands. It really depends on the deck. The average count you're probably going to see is somewhere around 21 to 24, though.
21 to 24. That, you know what? And that is very interesting, too, because I know when I was trying to get into Magic, I know the first thing I thought of is, we headed to the mats! And then, of course, the second thing I thought of is, okay, how do I make this count work? I'm looking for how much land do I put in here, how many creatures, how many instants, spells, sorceries, all that type of stuff right there.
Yep.
And, it's always a feat to try to figure out a good brew. But it looks like we got this man going down to a quick 17. Oh, and just getting rid of land. Oh!
Yep. So that's a Stone Rain. That's what Ponza does, and does it very well, is he will destroy those basic lands, and he will lock, or at least attempt to lock humans into dire straits. Unfortunately, he was able to get another land. He has now effectively 2 mana with that Noble Hierarch, and he was able to make that ETB trigger count for the Champion of Parish, and the Champion of Parish was able to swing in for 3.
Oh, I see right there. And it's very interesting too that they have mana destruction for like 2 cost.
No, that was 3.
That was 3. Where did he tap the third one? I saw only 2.
So that Arbor Dryad,
Uh-huh.
it says untap target land.
Oh, the mana dork or dwarf or however you call it. It sounds like people are saying mana dork when
They are definitely saying Mana Dork.
Dork. Okay, I got you. Yeah, I'm trying to learn all these nicknames too, man. And when I hear mana dork, I'm just like, oh, okay, it's a little body on board that produces mana. And it looks like we got the humans at 17 life, and the guy that controls the dork is at 15 lives. He's gonna go ahead and tap for the god there, the one that can actually eat up cards, and you say gain life after eating them up.
Yep.
Now, after it eats them up, does it gain life depending on the mana converted mana cost, or just
it's a static 2 life?
Static 2. Okay.
Static 2 life gain, 2 life drain.
Gotcha. And it looks like he actually got some land this go round. So the human is going to go ahead and I would utilize the land as much as possible. Swinging in, it looks like for maybe a 2/2 is what it looks like.
That's 3.
Oh, it's a 3.
So this is Thalia. This is the one I mentioned earlier. So it's a 3/2 right now because it has a 1/1 counter on it. It's not going to do a heck of a lot against this particular matchup. But at the same token, Pawns is not really going to do a lot of land destruction. Now, we do see that Stormbreath Dragonair, that protection from white, is going to mean really a lot of damage against the current field state that we see, because humans only has white creatures. It's not going to really do... It's not going to be really beneficial for humans at this point. They need something that's not white. He needs, realistically, a Phantasmal Image or a Glasspool Mimic would work. If it didn't clone a white creature.
Oh.
Unfortunately, it's going to have to clone a white creature. So.
Okay, so he played the Mimic. Is that what you're saying? He played a Mimic, and then he clones a white creature, so it's considered white.
Yep.
So it's not going to do anything to that card that has protection against white.
Correct. He actually cloned that Thalia's Lieutenant. So that Glasspool Mimic is a 1/1. His other Thalia's Lieutenant's a 3/3. His Thalia is a 4/3. Makes non-creature spells cost 1 more to cast.
It looks like he's gaining life too. So not only is he gaining life, his opponent is losing life.
Mm-hmm.
So the human's down to 13 lives. And of course, we got the land destruction, the Panza, at 14 lives. He's got a god on board. He's got the protection from white card. What is that card specifically? You said it was a dragon?
Yeah, it's Stormbreath Dragon. It came out of Theros, and for the longest time it was considered one of the best dragons. It's still up there in my regard. The protection from white is really relevant. But you don't really see it seeing play that often. Pawns is one of the few decks that still utilizes the card, unfortunately.
Oh, I gotcha. And what's the power and toughness on this card?
It's a 4/4.
Oh, golly, a 4/4. You tap 3 for it?
4/4, and you tap 7 mana to activate the monstrosity ability. Otherwise, it's flying, haste, protection from white. It's arguably one of the first push mythics we saw at that time. When Theros first came out, and I believe the card capped off around $30 or so.
Oh, $30. That's actually not bad for what I've seen cards go for. I mean, especially since I've seen cards in Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, DBS. I've seen cards in quite a bit of card games, and that is definitely on the cheaper end of what I've seen.
Yeah, the card's actually not in a bad spot right now because it can't be prismatic. It can be prismatic ended because 1, it's protection from white. 2, it's a 5-drop, so paying 5 colors into that card's gonna be very hard. Can't be path to exiled. Can't be fatal pushed. Can't be abrupt decayed. Realistically, the only way to deal with this card is dismember or potentially assassin's trophy. So the card's actually not in a bad spot right now to be seeing main board play.
Mm-hmm.
It dodges a lot of removal. And as you can see, it's kind of stonewalling this white human deck right now.
Fatal push. I like the sound of that. What is it? You destroy something, you bounce it away.
You destroy a creature costs 2 or less, but if you manage to revolt it, which basically means a permanent on your side of the battlefield left, you can up it to cost 4 or less.
To 4 or less, and you destroy it right there. Sounds like a good almighty push.
Pretty much.
I like it. Oh, no, I like it. I mean, that also, I pulled that from Naruto with pain and stuff like that. I really do like that power. It was almighty push, and then the other one, something retraction. I can't remember that part, but he looks like the humans are going to go ahead and throw the limp wrist.
They are. So that Reflector Mage, again, is a white creature that is not going to really do a hell of a lot against that Stormbreath Dragon, and he can't bounce that god because it's an enchantment, so he was forced to bounce the Mana Dork, so it's definitely not in his favor right now.
Oh, so he went.
We're gonna see a second Stormbreath Dragon.
Oh, the dragon comes out again, and so that's definitely 2 guaranteed blocks that he could stop on swings. But the thing is, in order for you to take the W, you have to get your opponent down to 0 lives.
That shouldn't be too hard right now with the board state that JP has. He basically just ate a land, produced another red. That's how he got that Stormbreath Dragon out. And right now, he's actually going to be stonewalling this human force for quite a while.
He went ahead and sacked the land to draw a card, is what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have quite a bit on his side of the board. I don't know if he's just gonna swing out. I don't know what he has in mind or what he has in his deck that can actually combat this card. But he ends up throwing the limp wrist and passing the turn. Oh man! So now he's like, warp something else from your graveyard. And on top of eating something from the is that what he's doing? He's eating something from the graveyard, is what is happening. And so I thought that was a creature. That god was a creature. It's a legendary enchantment.
It's a legendary enchantment creature, so it has to have devotion.
Enchantment creature.
Mm-hmm. It has to have devotion. This one specifically has to have 7 devotion become active. So right now it is active. So the Stormbreath Dragons provide 2 red apiece. Those elves provide 1 green apiece, and so that's 2, 4, 6 in total. Plus the god itself produces 2 more. So that god is actually active. Now, I don't know if I was JP, if I would have made that god active, and that god is now vulnerable actually to Reflector Mage. But it is going to provide beating in the long run because now he can fly over with his Stormbreath Dragons and actually block with his god and with his Monodorks and actually utilize a lot.
Oh man, hopefully
He might actually just, if he drew a land right now, oh, nope. I was going to say, if he actually ate that land, he might have been able to just do Monstrosity and make his dragons actually just swing for the win. I don't think JP noticed that, unless I'm not noticing something here. Because he had 5 mana total, plus the 2 elves. He could have Monstrositied one of his dragons, make it a 7/7 flyer. The other part of that is he would lose life equal to the cards in his hand, which, not JP, but Dan. I believe Dan's holding 1, possibly 2 cards. But ultimately, it also doesn't matter because that's me just overthinking it. Because he just flew over for 8 anyways. So.
Oh man! Oh wow! So it's a game apiece.
Mm-hmm.
Woo! Those dragons putting in work. So okay, hold on. I'm curious as to why this man having 4/4 dragons didn't start swinging at all. He just kept them, I guess, just for defense or what?
Pretty much, protection from white against humans. The version that Dan's running right now is heavily white. Not to say that that's not a great thing for his variant, but it makes it super vulnerable to Stormbreath Dragons because protection from white means he can now stonewall him, block his heaviest creatures, or block some creatures, make blocks favorable for him, and eventually take over the game using that. And that's what we saw there. He took over the game utilizing 1 Stormbreath Dragon. Once he had 2 on the field, it was only a matter of time. Dan needed to be able to possibly clone one of the dragons or do something to that extent so that he could actually fight back.
Well, I was thinking that he actually would have gotten the game earlier because if it has protection from white, that means white can't block it, can he? Or can they still block it?
White can't block it, but the problem is he already had 4 creatures on the field, one of which was a 6/6. He had another 4/4 creature there. He had a 3/3 creature, whatnot. If Dan started swinging, he would have lost his board gradually. So there's an argument for Dan being more aggressive in that point. But I don't know necessarily if that would have been the most beneficial thing for him.
And Dan is the humans player, right?
Yep.
Oh, man, because I feel like Dan was playing a little bit too conservative. But then again, like I said, I don't know too much. I just know about other card games, and I'm just like, yeah, when you're swinging in with 2 and they just block the 2, you really didn't do damage, and all your creatures have so many tokens on them. You have such a huge board. Why not go all out and try to take as much damage as possible? That way you leave your opponent between a rock and a hard place trying to figure out, oh man, what do I do here? What do I do here? All this guy got to do is swing in with, his 10 card creatures to my 2 creatures that I can block with.
Yeah, there's an argument for Dan doing that. Right now, them both being 1 and 1. That's probably the way Dan should have gone. JP might have been forced to block the champion of the parish and take all the rest of the damage.
Right.
But, I mean, that's the past. That's hindsight. There's only so much that hindsight can do.
Oh, yeah, hindsight. Or as I like to say, the commentator's sight. Man, we see everything from over here.
Yeah.
But as soon as we're underneath that camera, we're just like, wait, what? Wait, what could I do? Yeah, that's the thing. Every time I commentate, no matter what card game it is, man, I always see a better play. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if I would have seen that better play if I was actually playing. However, no, I think commentating actually helps in the long run. And I think, being behind the camera is another way of play testing. It's also another way to go and head to the mats. Woohoo! So we head to the mats right here, and they just start. They're starting out the gate. We got the Man of Dork on PJ's side of the field, and then we got Dan throwing out a human. I like the way he threw out that human. He kind of like flexed on the wrist and then just threw it out there.
Unfortunately, he didn't play it turn 1, which must have meant he top-decked this. So what are we going to see? We're going to see the Blood Moon. No, we're going to see the God right off the top.
Man, this guy always sees it.
That's the Clothes there. That's the name of the god. 4/5 3-drop, and of course, if he gets devotion, it becomes a creature and is indestructible as well. That probably isn't actually the best play.
Clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Clothes? Where did that come from? I mean, it sounds like this dude right here has a date with Thoughtseize. Clothes and Thoughtseize.
If he actually had the Blood Moon, I think he actually would have locked Dan out. Or possibly if he even had a Stone Rain pulled him back. Right now we are going to see him try to utilize this moment in time to the best of his advantage.
You got to. He doesn't have a that big of a board. I just swing in and try to do some damage. There you go. So Dan right now is taking he's taking 4 lives, and now we got JP that's at 20 lives, trying to do what he can because if Dan ends up getting to sideboard cards, it might be the same fate as we saw last game.
Yep. I think what I do here is you're going to try to ramp, and there we do see additional more ramp. Unfortunately, it's not going to be active right now. JP's going to pass, so that must mean he has some sort of removal in his hand. If I had to guess, I see an Anger there. I see a Lightning Bolt. And I see another Clothes, so that's not the best hand. But what he might do this turn is he's probably going to bolt this champion.
Ooh. Oh no, he taps 3 for a red human? Is that a human?
Yep, that's a werewolf. Because we do see the day and night mechanic there.
Oh, okay. So, you know what? This is interesting. All right, now that it's out here, how does that work? Because I know I used to play werewolves, but the way they flipped is whenever you didn't play a spell. So, in order to go into a werewolf, no spells had to have been cast. In order to go back from werewolf to humans, 2 spells or more had to have been cast. So, how does this daytime and nighttime work here? Is it the same or is it?
Kind of, sort of. This time around, how it works is you can play a spell. If you play a spell in your turn and it's day, it remains day. If you don't play anything, it flips. But then if you personally play 2 spells or more, it reflips or vice versa, and then you could actually easily manipulate it more. But the key thing is if it's night, your werewolves come out on their night side.
Oh, they come out on the night side.
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's actually very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Because the thing is, the last time they had it, werewolves always came out as humans. And then you had to, make sure you didn't play a spell or whatnot.
Yeah.
This is actually pretty cool. I like that they did that. It makes it a bit better if you want to play werewolves. But I'm assuming that with that, all the other werewolves follow that? Or it's just the werewolves that came out of this past
Out of
set?
Innistrad.
So all of Innistrad or just this past set?
Just this past set.
Oh, man. So that means the mechanics for the other werewolves are still the same.
Yes. Although there is a petition going on right now to errata all those old werewolves to the new day and night mechanic to make them viable for modern and other constructed purposes and possibly make them more viable for EDH. Mark Rosewater says basically if people want this to happen, he's going to need to see a petition so he could bring it to his bosses and say, hey, can we errata this? And then the big bosses might say, hey, yeah, we can do it.
But I don't think there's going to be a good desire to errata them because there's only going to be a few people that are actually going to have that desire to do so. I mean, me personally, when it comes to card games, I've seen a lot of people that have desires and whatnot, but it's pretty much the competitive players that determine the play.
Effectively, although there are some... not modern players, EDH players that can control this. If something's popular enough or if there's a high enough demand for something, something can be errated to be in that favor. For years, players demanded that Phyrexians be a creature type, and it wasn't until Kaldheim that we got the first official errata for a massive amount of Phyrexian creatures. So.
Oh, okay. So it's possible. But as of now, the way it stands, if it is nighttime and you use an old werewolf, they don't come out as a werewolf.
Correct. So they come out on their human side.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, there's got to be an errata because I'm not going to lie. Like, I do like me some werewolves too, but if they're unplayable, they're unplayable. They can't really do too much. So maybe Wizards will change that. Maybe it's something that they'll do in order to try to get some income too.
Maybe. So we do see JP playing the Scavenging Ooze there. That's going to compete with Clothes, unfortunately, but it's going to gain him life, and it's going to grow bigger, which will help him out quite a bit in the long run. So
grow bigger and stronger in order to take the W. And how does it do that? Is it graveyard or does it do hand? Or
it does graveyard. So you pay 1 green and you eat a creature. If you do eat a creature, you gain 1 life, and Scavenging Ooze gets a 1/1 counter on it. You can eat anything else in the graveyard as well, but it just won't gain that life, and you won't gain that life, and Scavenging Ooze won't gain that counter.
Okay, so it has to eat a creature.
Yes, it has to eat the creature to gain that benefit.
Oh, okay, I got you. So it looks like he ended up casting his own. It looks like a spirit or?
That's Sanctifier on Vec. Pro red, pro black, and it exiles all instant and sorceries out of graves. It's decent in this matchup because it'll get rid of a lot of the red cards in JP's grave and possibly mess up Scavenging Ooze, but there is some argument for some other things in this current play state. So.
Oh yeah, no, it looks like they're talking about it hardcore. He's trying to bolt it, and I guess stuff is happening on the stack right here.
Yep.
So on play, he tries to play that, and then the bolt is happening. I guess there's a trigger that's missed?
No. So what JP says is response to cast, he's going to bolt the dude there, send it to graveyard. Still, when this creature's on the stack, Scavenging Ooze is going to eat it. He's going to gain a life, and Scavenging Ooze is going to get bigger. The trigger's going to resolve, and now all the graveyards are going to be messed with and exiled. So.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go. We have our own spell, and it looks like he targets it. And there's no more eating for you today.
Yeah, that was a Dismember. That was target creature gets -5/-5.
Wow, golly, -5.
At the cost. There's a cost to it. So it's either you pay 3 mana or you pay 1 mana. If you pay 1 mana, you lose 4 life. And the reason it is that way is because it uses a mechanic that was arguably one of the most busted mechanics of all time for Phyrexian mana. It's either you can pay a swamp, or you can pay a mountain, you can pay a plains, whatever the Phyrexian mana is, or if you don't want to pay that, you can pay 2 life.
Mm-hmm. And since life is a resource, they'll gladly pay that 2 life.
Mm-hmm. So it's a 1-drop. Target creature gets -5/-5 at instant speed.
Ooh, at instant speed. Oh, that's strong right there.
Mm-hmm.
That is strong. And it looks like he's going to go ahead and swing in. Come on, try to do some damage here, humans, because it looks like the humans are not doing so hot, with Dan being at 19 and JP being at 10 lives.
Vice versa.
Oh, my bad. Dan's at 19. Or
Dan's at 10.
Dan's at 10. Oh, okay. JP is the Panza.
Mm-hmm.
JP Panza. All right, and then we got Dan playing the humans.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. But like I said, it does not look good for Dan and the humans. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Right now, they're both on top deck mode, effectively. Dan has a bit more of a hand, but I think he would have played it. I think those cards are pretty dead in his hand right now. JP isn't really much in a better position. So we're going to see him eat a land there to gain some sort of mana. He'll play another land to gain more mana. It's kind of a weird situation for all in all. Dan's actually in the better position right now because he's going to swing for 3 with the Sanctifier on Vec this entire time. He's got that Aether Vial that's now building up counters. He's got more mana that Pan's really not going to really be able to do anything with at this stage. So if JP draws a land destruction spell, it's kind of a dead card at this point. JP's really hoping for more Stormbreath Dragons right now.
He played a red human, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
He played a shaman, it looks like. Is it a shaman or is
No, that's Imperial Recruiter. He's going to search his deck for a creature, and there we do see Champion of the Parish.
The champion!
If JP draws Anger of the Gods, that would probably actually do him very well. It'll clear the board of everything except the Sanctifier on Vec.
It looks like we got Ahmed on the horn asking, are clerics strong in Modern?
There's no cleric-specific deck. There are some cleric cards that are strong. I believe the Sanctifier on Vec is a cleric, but the cleric isn't the actual important part. The important part is that it's a human. There are some tribes where cleric abilities might matter, or the other subtype might matter, like spirits, merfolk, goblins, humans, slivers, whatnot. But there's no specific cleric deck right now.
Oh man, it looks like the humans are gaining traction. Look at Dan's board right now. And then swinging in, I don't know. This looks like it might be one-sided now that he actually came out on the crackback.
Yep. JP needs anger. JP needs a few other things right now. I need to make a modern deck now so I can show out.
Oh, in 2 card games. So you're trying to follow in someone's footsteps, Ahmed. I see you, player. And maybe when you are around, I can throw my modern deck at you and see where you at. Because I've been doing a little dabbling with my modern deck. Starting out, and I'm not gonna lie, it's actually it's not bad. I always have Lily and Marcus telling me, "Oh, I need to fix it. I need to get it to par because it actually has potential in the meta."
Yeah, there's potential. I haven't seen your deck lately, but I definitely love to have a look at it.
Oh, I want you to. I want you to look at it because I'm telling you, I got a lot of pride in it. It's the vampires, man. It's vampires, and I'm not gonna lie, they put in work. But I gotta see one card. If I see one card, boom, it's over. Bada bing, bada boom. Forget about it.
So with scooping ideas off MTG Goldfish, that's not a bad place to start.
Goldfish? Ooh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, they show top 5 lists. You could also type in top 5 lists. They show top 8 lists of who recently 5-0 tournaments. You can also do just MTG Top 8 would be another site to look at, and they register all the deck lists from Standard, Modern, Pioneer, EDH, Pauper, of who's doing what. That would be another good place to look. So this is another dragon here, going back, taking a moment from that. So this is Endbringer. This is a 4/4 dragon with haste and flying, and it has an ability where it can exert itself and deal 4 damage to a creature.
He's at 4. Oh.
If he did that, which it looks like he did. It blows up one of his creatures. The problem is that card can now attack for one full turn. It's going to remain tapped.
Oh, that is the thing because it's a tapped ability. Oh, we got Ahmed on the horn saying need to bring the hype. Oh, so I'm a little bit dormant. Is that what I hear? All right, well, I might need to bring a little bit more hype. But no, it's like I'm saying, the humans look like they have the board and it looks like it's gonna take over. But that's very low life right there. At any point in time, this man could throw something at him, or at least if he could take one life, you could lightning bolt him.
Correct. Right now, he's on a 2-turn clock with this Clothes. He's on a 2-turn clock with this dragon. If he draws a Stormbreath dragon, he's pretty much dead. The problem is JP's at 20 life with no blockers right now. So if the humans deck can copy Thalia's Lieutenant a couple of times, that's actually going to set the precedence. Now, going back to what I said earlier, if you really want to look at building a modern deck, there are 4 Pioneer decks that just came out. They are modern viable. They're not the best, but they are a decent place to look at.
Okay.
I would recommend if you want something with playsets, the Spirits deck is not a bad place to start. There's Orzhov Enchantments, it's actually really good. There's a deck that takes a lot of turns that's pretty good. So those are just some things to look at.
We just trying not to break the bank, though, is what we're trying to do. But no, it looks like he's adding markers to everything. Has markers now. He's counting them up. If he counts them up and it's 20, oh, it might be 20. Is it 20?
Not quite 20. It's definitely going to be a hit.
Oh, it went down. Oh.
He's going to put JP on a 1-turn clock right now.
Oh, man.
It really depends on what JP top decks. And there's another Endbringer off the top. So JP won off the top deck.
Wait, JP won off the top deck?
Yep, that's another Endbringer right off
the top. The man top deck it like a madman. Wow, you know what? And there have been plenty of times, dude, where I play a card game and man, I got my opponent where I want them. They got no cards in hand, and then all of a sudden, Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'm like, wow. My whole strategy the whole time that I was keeping this man at bay, I lost to a top deck.
Yep.
My goodness.
That's all. That's what it came down to this time, and it happens. It happens.
Well, we got Ahmed on the horn saying, "Are budget builds viable at Lotus, or do I gotta take out a second mortgage?"
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's not gonna be a second mortgage, but it's definitely gonna be
a stimulus.
A stimulus, a paycheck. If you still got some of your Trump check left over, something like that. Because a lot of the players here are seasoned. What we do is here, as I mentioned before on stream, we actually go to the 20K tournaments. We go to the pro tours, or we try to. We go to the bigger tournaments around here, and a lot of us have been playing here a while. Now, does that mean we're not new player friendly? Absolutely not. We'll actually take the new players, train them up, work with them.
That's what what they're doing with me.
And we'll try to make sure that you get on par. It's a matter of whether or not, how long that necessarily takes, what you want to do, what your play style is, how eventually you kind of like the game. If you want a viable modern deck that is budget friendly, look into Mono Red Burn. Mono Red Burn is very budget friendly. You could also look into Mono Red Prowess. That's very budget friendly. Those would be a couple of things that I would look at.
Right. Yeah, no, they are very friendly here. Like when I started playing in Magic, I mean, these guys were giving me a whole bunch of knowledge that I didn't even know. They were saying, "Oh, do you know this card? Do you know this card?" I'm just like, "Hey, man, just make." I make it to where I'm just getting back into the game, because even though I played and then I had a hiatus and then I came back in, I might have known the old cards, but I do not know, because I played Standard whenever I came into Magic, and trying to get into Modern, which is pretty much my Standard deck I had back then, and because it rolled out, now it's Modern. I mean, it's awesome to see that it's viable and that there's a way that I can try to have some type of deck within the meta. Like, I won't have the Shocklands, because that's definitely a thing that could put the deck over the top. But I got to figure out a good ratio for the lands or whatnot. So, no, they're seasoned, man. They're like adobo and sazon. I'm like salt and pepper right now. I'm not really that seasoned when it comes to it. But hopefully I get there. And Ahmed, like I'm saying, you come down here, man, and we'll go back and forth, and we'll try to figure it out is what we'll do. But, we got some people on mic. We got Dan the Chinaman on the mic saying Lotus modern players are good people. The crowd there is very nice. Oh no, definitely. So he just verified everything I said. Like I said, these guys, they're real good. You got some veteran players here. I'll ask some questions. I try not to ask too many questions. I'm one to ask a lot of questions to try to, figure out what is the meta about. What do I need to side more? How do I play this? How do stacks resolve? Like they're real good at stuff like that. So hey, don't be intimidated by that whatsoever. We got Jeff Telor6 playing at Lotus was great using deflecting palm live twice against Boggles was pretty spicy. Deflecting palm, that's that mono red, right?
Deflecting palm. A deflecting palm is 1 red, 1 white. It says choose target creature or choose target permanent. The next time that source will deal damage. Instead, it deals damage as you choose. Basically, you get to redirect damage with it. That is actually a pretty good match. I actually remember that one. Boggles is not a very good matchup for against Burn, but Burn actually went out and won against Boggles, so that was actually a pretty fun matchup.
Oh, hey, yes, sounds like it's fun too. Hey, and PR Sign, I'm all about entertainment. I'm all about looking to see every single card I can in Magic. It helps me better commentate, and you know what? Hey, we're gonna keep on rolling with that. I know we got Dan the Chinaman says y'all are doing great casting too. Much love. Hey, you know about that casting? We all planeswalkers up in here. You know what I'm saying? Well, we're gonna go into a quick break. That was the end of round 3. This is Mount Gall, man. This is Magic the Gathering at Lotus. I'm your hype boy, PR Sign.
Carl, catch you guys in a bit.
Don't go away. What's happening, Magic players? It's your hype boy, PRC.
Hi, Carl, guys, coming right back at you.
Oh man, you know what? I got a little bit of it. The adrenaline is kicking in. We got the finals here on Mount Gall. This is Magic the Gathering at Lotus, and man, do I have somebody on here that I'm very curious to see, because man, whenever he beats me real good, and he beats me real fast. I cannot wait. This guy is gonna be playing Burn on the left, and then of course on the right, I actually don't know what he is playing, but going back to the comments real quick, I want to go ahead and backtrack. We got, like I said, much love to Dan the Chinaman right there. Much love going out to you guys. We got Ahmed saying that he is going to go ahead and try to bring back a deck that he had a while ago, white-green, and all I got to say is, bring it, Ahmed. Bring it. We can practice because I'm all about it. When I play card games, I lose track of time, and no, it's very cool. I enjoy it.
There's a pretty decent white-green deck. You can do white-green taxes. That's kind of the way I would go with it. There's a card called Collected Company. If you can, look into that card and build a deck around Collected Company, and you can kind of go off cards like that. Now, going back to the mats.
Oh, to the mats. Oh, he took my line.
Every once in a while.
Yeah. No, yeah, Coco, right? Collected Company, Coco.
Collected Company.
Yeah, no, I remember that card too. When I started playing and someone played Coco on me, man, I would freak out too. Oh, we see this guy right here. He's freaking out as well. He was all excited when I said they were going to be on stream. Look, he's smiling. He gets to showcase the deck. And what better way to try to get much value off of being on stream than actually looking back on the stream and looking to see what you did, what your opponent did, if the hindsight was a little better than what you were thinking at the time or whatnot. The streams are always a good way it's like another variant of playtesting.
Oh, absolutely. They're great for history review. They're great for recording matches because you can kind of remember how this match went according to the stream, and we make sure we do say these do go into the cloud at some point. You can definitely rewatch them. Now, with Joe here being on Burn, we do see Lotus Burn. And then with Eli, of course, that's an Arid Mesa. Eli's going to start us off. So that doesn't really give us a lot of information on Eli's deck just yet. But hopefully we'll see something fairly interesting. So that's a Goblin Guide right off the front.
Goblin Guide, 2/2 swinging in with haste. And of course it does, hey, look at the top card. If it is a land card, it actually gets put into your hand. Oh, I'm a little bit confident with this. Why? Because I get my butt handed to me whenever I face this guy, man. Whenever I face, so I know pretty much, a little bit of the decks here. But yeah, that Goblin 2/2 and haste, it puts in a lot of work, man. It does put in quite a bit of work. We got Ahmed saying, are foretell and learn/lessons viable/legal in Modern?
So all those cards are legal in Modern. Are they viable is the question. So far, none of those cards have been viable, but that doesn't mean that they can't be brought into Modern at some point. There might be some fringe decks that play something lesson-wise or foretell-wise, but you're not going to really see a lot of things just yet. It's a little bit too soon. How Modern works is anything from 8th edition to current standard is legal. Now, there are some cards that are banned, and there's a handful, but out of the huge card pool, there's, I believe, less than 40 total banned cards. So.
Oh, that's good to know right there. Well, it looks like after he ends up passing his turn, we had our opponent actually fetch a land and then bolt him. So got rid of the Goblin really easily, and then of course on his turn, we drew a card we actually added to our pool of lands, and then we brought out this Planeswalker here that I've seen quite a bit. I still haven't memorized this land, this Planeswalker, but he's got, it looks like 4 loyalty counters on it.
Yeah, he has 4 loyalty right now. So this Planeswalker is Ren and 6.
Ren and 6. It looks like he's leaning to the side right there. Ren and 6.
Yep.
But his opponent right there actually has a mountain that he put into his repertoire of lands, and we get to see what he does. I know this dude is all about burning and burning real good, and he plays. Oh, have I seen that card before? I don't know if I've seen that card. All right, Kyle, you have to take it away on this one.
So this is Eidolon of the Great Revels. It's a 2-drop. Double red. Whenever a player plays a card costs 3 or less, that player takes 2 damage, and itself is a 2/2. So
what?
It works both ways. So it's a double-edged sword against burn, but because it lands on the field first, it's actually going to deal, in theory, more damage to the opponent than it does to the burn player initially.
Oh, that's nice right there. A nice little self-destruction card to get your opponent even further down in life. I didn't know this is a really fast deck, and I really do like it. There was only, I think I remember only one time me being able to defeat Burn, and the only reason why was because my little tokens that come out have lifelink. That's the only reason why I took one game. But that was it. It's been difficult. And like I said, I've been tweaking it a little bit. So, hey, Ahmed on the horn right there. Hey, come on, player. Yeah, I need more people to practice against, man. But no, it's very exciting. We got right now, Burn is at 18 lives. His opponent right now, have you figured out what type of deck his opponent is playing? Is it Jund? Is it Ponza?
So right now, if I would take a shot in the dark, I would say it's 4-color, because we do see red, green, we see more blue there, potentially white with the Arid Mesa. So this leads me to initially think this is 4 colors and some variation of Omnath. But usually we're going to see a lot more elementals. Usually there's an elemental sideboard card. Right now, all I've seen is the Ren and 6 and the Lightning Bolt, so this could just be Timur Value Town, which is red, blue, green. We had a former player by the name of Isaac here who used to play Timur Value Town. I would need to see a little bit more of this deck. This isn't a lot to go off of. Right now, this is just a lot of expensive cards.
Yes,
I think that's
indeed.
a pack of negation in his hand. I'm trying to look at this sideways, trying to look over, kind of going over your shoulder, see if that's going to give me an advantage. It's not. Not like I'm there in the room.
But he cracked one of his lands. He lost a life, but now he's going to go ahead and fetch. We got Ahmed on the horn saying Ren and Stimpy. Oh, you know what? Now that he said that, I'm not going to remember any other name but Ren and Stimpy.
Oh, that's fine. That's actually its nickname on occasion.
Oh, that's his nickname? Oh, okay. Good, because, I mean, getting into Magic is like I got a clean slate, man, and whatever I hear just sticks, man. Either it sticks with what I hear or what I say, my own nicknames that I get the cards, like, well, I'm trying to remember. Oh, Ragavan is a boo. That dude is a boo from Aladdin, man. That dude's a thief in the night.
Well, that's the problem, though, is that's only this variant of it. So her lore is Ren is a dryad that goes plane to plane, and the dryad itself has a planeswalker spark, but she can't live without a host.
Oh, I know that card. I know what that card does. You get to choose two, and you get to choose between drawing 2 cards, discarding 2. You get to choose between give and burn, and I think you get to choose other. I don't know what the other ones are. I always use the drawing 2, discarding 2, and then the burn, I think.
Yep, and then the other portion is you make a treasure token or destroy an artifact.
Make a treasure token or destroy an artifact. And that's tapping 3. Of course, that is an instant, and he gets to choose 2. And I wonder what he's going to choose. Maybe he might choose the drawing, because it doesn't look like he's been seeing his pieces.
Possibly. I think I actually kind of know what he might be on right now, but I need to see black in order. So we do see the two draw cards.
And then he's draw 2, and then...
And he's actually going to do... What is the other mode that he's going to do here? I'm assuming he's creating the treasure token because Eidolon of the Great Revel still exists.
So choosing the treasure token because he probably doesn't have black, and that treasure token would be able to tap for black. Ah, smart. Very smart. Very smart. And he did that on his opponent's end phase. So now we got the untap, upkeep, draw. And now we're going to see what he does. I don't know if he's got a mana right now that he's got... Oh, there he goes. Boom. He's got it. He's going to go ahead and crack it. And man, do these guys lose a lot of lives with these fetch lands.
So I'm seeing a Teferi on the bottom of his deck right now. So this might just be some sort of value town. Oh, there it is. So we are actually going to see something pretty cool here if he has the card in his hand. This card is called Explosive Iteration. No, not Explosive Iteration. God, the card's going to come to me as soon as I see it.
Explosive Company.
No, not quite.
Collective Explosion.
Almost. So what the card does is he sacrifices X artifacts or creatures, and then he shuffles. He puts cards from the top of his deck. There it is, right there. So he's going to sacrifice that treasure token and that dwarf token.
Oh.
And he's basically going to put 2 creatures into play.
Oh, okay, so he's bringing out creatures. All right, so did he take any damage at all for playing these cards?
No.
Because that card is still out on the board, and if he plays a cost of 2 or less, correct?
3 or less.
Oh,
but that
3 or
card's
less.
converted mana cost because of it being X, where X is how much you pay into it, makes it a 4-drop right now.
Oh, so he paid in more into it. Ah, okay, I got you. So he's exiling. Oh, All this is going.
So there's one creature that's going to stop burn in its tracks.
Oh, why? Oh.
That's an angel that says you have protection and creatures you have control have protection from the chosen card type. He's probably going to say instants.
He chose red. Oh, he can't choose a color?
He can't choose a color. He chooses card type. So instant, sorcerer, creature, planeswalker, lands, artifacts, enchantments. If I were him, I would choose instants. He's now going to shuffle his deck.
Oh, we got Ahmed on the horn saying, is it engineered explosives?
No, not quite.
Oh, man. It's some type of explosive, though, man. It really is. It's just, it really does stop him in his tracks because look at that. He got a bolt in his hand. So if he's got protection against instants, then that means he's just going to have to just swing in with a whole bunch of cards with haste and try to deal damage the old-fashioned way. Throwing the hands, man. He's got to throw the hands. But he's at a good, healthy 16 lives. So we'll see. He's going to go ahead and throw down a mountain. So after throwing down the mountain, I don't know if he's got anything else. Is that card an enchantment? The one that... Oh, no, it's an angel.
It's an angel.
It's an angel.
So it's indomitable creativity. I'm sorry, I did have to just look it up. I'll admit that one. But it's destroy target X artifacts or enchantments. I'm sorry, X artifacts or creatures. For each permanent destroyed this way, its controller reveals the top card of his or her library until an artifact or creature card is revealed this way. Exile that card. Those players may put those exile cards onto the battlefield, then shuffle their library. So he did X's one, so he exiled the dwarf, and then he put this angel into play. So right now, this angel's probably going to stonewall most of Joe's abilities, unfortunately. Being at 7 is a huge danger zone for against a red player because they can kill you within 2 cards. But the problem is now he has protection from instants, or at least I assume he does. That would be the correct choice here.
Oh yeah, that's what I would choose. It's all the instants that he would burning you at the end of your turn, burning you on his turn. But the thing is too, now he has to rely on his creatures, and I don't know if he has the creatures for it. He did throw out a creature out there, and I believe it's a 1/2, if I'm not mistaken, that has prowess.
That's Monastery Swiftspear. He probably has 3 creatures in his deck. He has Monastery Swiftspear, he has Eidolon of the Great Revels, and he has Goblin Guide.
How does he not have the Boo?
The deck doesn't need it.
What?
That's what makes Burn a great intro deck for players, is it doesn't need the most expensive card in the format.
Oh wait, a Boo is expensive?
Yeah, he's like $60, $70.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no. A Boo, man, you a thief in the night is one. Oh, he's tapping. For?
Skewer the Critics. So he's going to deal 3 damage at sorcery speed.
Sorcery speed. So that hits him. Because he, like you said, he called instants. And now he's going to go ahead and swing in, try to deal as much damage as he can. Oh, he's down to 2 lives.
Yep.
Oh, man.
So Joe's not out of it yet. Red deck does have sorceries that he can utilize. And he's actually going to prevent Eli from actually swinging for a little bit, which is perfectly fine. But Joe has Skewer the Critics, which works at sorcery speed. He has a couple of the burn spells that work at sorcery speed. If he gets another creature and he utilizes a prowess trigger and potentially burns himself, he can utilize that prowess trigger to swing. There's multiple ways Joe has outs. It's just right now he's not in the best of spots with Eli having protection from red.
He's got a top deck. Oh my goodness, he's down to 1 life. Oh wow, that means all Joe has to do is draw a creature with haste and he's got it.
He would if he doesn't get another Dwarven Miner.
Oh.
So now he has a token out.
He needs a creature with haste and flying.
Yeah, if only.
If only. Well, actually, he would need 2 because I'm assuming all angels have flying as well.
For the most part. I don't think there is an angel that exists without flying, but, wizards could always make, like, some sort of fallen angel at some point that has their wings ripped out or something.
Oh, that sounds like it would be a cool thing. It would be like a cool arc, like the Fallen. That would be a good archetype right there. You're welcome, Wizards, for the idea, man. You're welcome. It came to you by Carl himself. And so we got 1 life. This guy right here got 1 life as opposed to 12 lives by Joe. And he's tapping. He's tapping. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. He has to destroy it again. So he's doing it again?
He's doing it again. He has another target in there. Or he must have at least 1 other target. I would assume it's going to be, yep, there it is, Emrakul.
Oh, what? Oh, this man has everything if I last remembered. He had like flying, trample, indestructible. Isn't he a 14-14?
15-15.
Oh, even worse. Oh.
So flying, trample, if it's cast, take an extra turn. When it swings, annihilate 6. Protection from all colored spells. It's Emrakul's a house, and right now it pretty much locks it in to say that unless Joe top decks a sorcery speed burn spell,
well, he takes another turn, so Joe can't play another turn.
No, that's only if you cast Emrakul. He didn't cast it.
Oh, I got you. See, I get confused with that. And then what is he going to do right there?
That's going to exile the Monetary Swift Spear.
All right.
So Joe actually has to draw a sorcery speed burn spell this
He's got a top deck. Top deck right here. Let's go, Joe. Yu-Gi-Oh! Boom. Oh,
That's a bolt.
He got a lightning bolt off of that. Not the card you want. And he scoops it up right there. Oh, my goodness. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Oh, he was so close and yet so far away.
So the reason why he wasn't able to do Shock is, well, 1, Shock isn't a good burn spell in Modern, so he's not going to have Shock. 2, Shock is also an instant speed. That Angel gives him protection from, at this point in time, instants. And all of his creatures would have protection from instants. So Shock is not going to be that useful, unfortunately.
But the creatures have protections from instants, but does the player?
Yes.
Okay, the player too. Also, all of his instants were triggered off. So now I'm wondering what this man here, that all he does is burn and swinging with haste creatures, what does he have in his side in order to combat what? I mean, he's seen the play style. He knows what's going to happen. He's going to try to bring out that Angel again to stop him from using instants. So what does he do? Does he just side out all his instants and throw in sorceries and hope his opponent says instants, or what?
No. So he has some cards that he could take out of his deck. He's probably going to take out a card called Searing Blaze, and he's going to put in a card called Deflecting Palm. Deflecting Palm says choose target creature. Choose a creature, and instead that damage is redirected. It actually gets around protection because of the wording.
What?
It gets around protection because of the wording. Should it, in my opinion? No, but because of the way it's worded, because of the way a judge ruled like some numbers of years ago, that's what it does. He might bring in more early turn removal to remove artifacts and to remove dwarves off the field. But there's really not a lot that Joe can do in this case against this type of deck.
You know, and there are some instants that are a 1-cost red that destroys target artifact. So I think he has it going really well if he has those cards in his side in order to go ahead and take game 2. But man, Emrakul coming out and just scaring his opponent and letting him know, hey man, but he top deck what he needed, but it actually in any other game it would have helped him. But in this game in particular, he needed a sorcery, and I didn't know he actually had sorceries. It seemed like though he always had instants.
Yeah, for the most part, the burn spells are super cheap, and it doesn't matter when Joe plays them. 90% of his deck are instant speed burn spells or creatures with haste, but he does have sorcery speed burn spells like Skewer the Critics. There's a couple other sorcery speed burn spells that he may or may not be running. So it really just depends on how things are going with Joe's overall deck. So,
oh man, Ahmed on the horn saying I'd get scooped up in Modern. Oh man, you gotta have a little bit of confidence, man. I'll tell you, I went in my very first Modern tournament. I went in and I was like, oh man, I got this. The Vamps are gonna put in work, and man, I got 2-0 every single round.
Yeah, don't let that discourage you. I mean, it's always a building process, especially if you're building your own deck. And like I mentioned before, there are a bunch of Pioneer decks that you can invest in. If you want Modern Light, Pioneer's the way to go. Or if you can purchase these Pioneer decks, you can build on those Pioneer decks and actually have a really solid base for a really good Modern deck.
Oh no, it just fuels me, man. It fuels me. Like I got 2-0, and at every single round, someone was giving me advice. Someone was giving me advice. Oh, you should do this, that. Oh, you know, and actually a lot of people were liking the mechanic that I was using. I was using Madness because I'm crazy fool. I'm going in these tournaments thinking that I'm gonna take one. I was trying to win one game, man. I was trying to see if I can get at least one game under my belt the whole whole tournament. But just like you said, we got a lot of seasoned veterans. So playing Magic in a tournament full of seasoned veterans might not be so good looking at it. But like if you take a step back and you see the general idea, I'm thinking if I start off playing against seasoned veterans, that just means I'm gonna exponentially take off. That I'm gonna get the ideologies down packed. I'm gonna get the stacking down packed. It's gonna get to a point where I started out at level 100, and yeah, I'm gonna take a lot of L's at the beginning. But man, I might become a seasoned vet myself. You know what I'm saying? And I might be, instead of salt and pepper, I might be a little paprika. You know what I'm saying? We got Dan, the China man, one on the horn saying, "Oh yeah, I clap Jeff every day with that deck." Oh, with the vamps? Oh, the vamps are good. Like I said, vamps, I like it. I enjoy it. But when I was looking at the database, I think I was looking at Scry Fall, if I'm not mistaken. There's not too many cards that have madness that are good that I would put into modern. But nonetheless, it's really, like, it's not bad. Like, whenever they come out with something that has madness, I'll take a look at it. I'll see, because the thing is, going out and buying a whole new deck is not really in the cards right now for PR Sign. But with the deck I already have, the fact that it actually can put up a decent fight against the modern now, I'm actually pretty pleased.
Yeah, that's not too bad of a start. And then Hammer Time, as Ahmed was actually looking at, is a top tier deck. I run it here. So I got super lucky in Modern. Is I was able to go to the first Modern tournament in Vegas, and I actually invested in Modern super early. So because of that, I actually have access to every Modern deck.
Also talking about investments, we got to invest into the mats. Ha ha! Right there. And it looks like we start off with the Goblin once again, trying to put in some damage, and it looks like the Goblin has been removed from the board.
It did do the 2 damage, which is perfectly fine. The Prismatic Ending gets rid of it. And so we also see another Goblin Guide there. He's going to get him for 2. That land's going to go to hand, of course. So the quicker that Joe can get Eli down, the better. As soon as Eli potentially gets to turn 4, it's not going to look too good for Joe.
Oh, I see what he's doing right here. He's revealing the top 2 cards of his deck using Spectacle. If his opponent were to have taken damage, he can cast it for its Spectacle cost, and he gets to exile 2 cards and then play it until the end of his next turn. Not bad at all. Do you see? I know this because he mollywopped me with this deck. He just burned me. I'm on fire, and I need so much ice for all the burn that I got. And so he's gonna go ahead and charge, and now he's gonna swing it. He said response to you declaring your attack. Oh, he's gonna go ahead and shock. So he's gonna shock, and he goes down to 15. So at 15 lives, we got Joe at 19 lives, and man, is it heating up, man. It's heating up with the burns. He's got the Goblin out there. He didn't quite get another creature with haste, because I'm assuming he would have already played it before trying to declare his attacks. And as per Burns, I don't know if he's trying to hold him in hand or if he's not. If he's trying to like burn him in a specific time.
He's going to burn him at a specific time. He could only play one of those burn cards, and both of those are really good ones that he probably actually didn't wish he had top decked with that specific card. So what we're going to see here is we're probably going to see a Lightning Bolt to deal with the Goblin Guy, and then Joe's probably going to burn him with, I would assume, the Boros Charm to keep his life total high.
Oh, okay. I got you. That's why people do the shock lands real early. So, wait. He's changing the land. Yeah, because I've noticed that, too. Like, they'll play a shock land, and they won't actually search until, like, maybe an action happened. And so I guess before this guy was trying to go into declaration of attacks, he went ahead, I'm going to go ahead and shock. Let me get the land that I need, and then I'm going to go ahead and shock your Goblin up from a Lightning Bolt.
He's saving himself 2 damage, potentially at least. He might also be just outright tapping it with ice.
Declare. Oh, no.
That's a land, so let's see where we're going with this. So he's going to do fire, and he's actually going to do 2 damage to it.
Oh. Protection? Is he going to give him indestructible? Wait.
Is he?
He gave him did he give him indestructible?
He did.
Indestructible. Oh! And so, yes, if you guys don't know what that does, he actually cannot be destroyed till the end of the turn.
Yep. Boros Charm does a multitude of things. It has 3 modes, deals 4 damage to target player, gives a target creature double strike, or gives your team indestructible, and we saw him get indestructible there. Is that the correct move?
I have
Probably.
I have no idea, but I'm thinking it might have been for what he has in hand because it doesn't seem like he has another creature in hand. The only thing that he can probably deal damage with is another instant or sorcery. He wants to make sure that creature stays on board so he can try to put in a lot of pressure. He just drew in another mountain.
Yeah.
He doesn't have what he needs. He does have a lightning bolt, and he was just trying to save the creature.
Yeah, which is fine. Right now he can draw 2 cards with those Sunbait Canyons. He's going to swing 2. We'll see where this takes us.
All the lands are going into his hand. Look at that. And he's going to tap 3. And what is he tapping 3? Oh, yep, he gets to choose. So I'm assuming he's going to burn and then do the draw.
Probably, or burn and make a treasure. He's getting out some tokens, so I'm assuming it's actually a treasure. So he's going to go for the combo next turn.
Burn and treasure. Not bad at all. And that was an instant speed, I guess, in response for this man trying to go into declaration of attacks. And then we're going to go ahead and tap in Lightning Bolt.
And is he going to do the Flame Rift and put him to 1?
Oh! He's going to go. Oh!
So he's gonna,
he takes, both of them take 3, I think, or both of them take 4?
both of them take 4.
Oh, he's down to 1 life. He's down to a top deck. Oh, my gosh. He passes turn. And now it's at the same amount of life total that last game ended in. Oh.
So it really actually depends on what Eli brought in. If Eli brought in a card that has lifelink, it might be beneficial for him. The problem is his deck relies on randomness. Because of Abdominal Creativity, he's going to sacrifice the treasure here and look for the top creature.
Top deck. Top deck. Here it goes. Wait, he's tapping.
That's probably incorrect. He's currently sacrificing both lands to draw 2 cards.
Oh, on his end phase?
On his upkeep.
Oh, on his upkeep.
I think I would have held on and waited to see what I drew here. Tomad's Crypt off the top.
Oh, Crypt. Crypt sounds cryptic. He swings in with it?
No, he sacrifices it to exile the grave. I don't know if that's also the correct call.
Man.
That's kind of an interesting play on Joe's part. I don't necessarily know the reason behind it, but right now that actually might have just solidified the game in Eli's favor because Eli can now do Indomitable Creativity for 2, sacrificing the Dwarf token and the Treasure token. And if he only kept the Emrakul and the Angel in his deck, then that's probably going to sell out the game in his favor.
Let's see. He's got a mill. But can he mill to any card? Or he has to mill to oh, wow.
So it's the Angel first. So he must have put another creature in his deck. It must not necessarily be the Emrakul. So it really depends on what he hits next. Oh, this is the Emrakul.
Oh, man. Wait, does he have a chance, though? He still has a turn, right?
He has a turn.
Emrakul cannot swing unless it has haste.
Correct.
Okay.
And the Sierra's Ascendant, or whatever the angel is, can't do anything.
Wait, but he calls instance, right? So he has to draw a sorcery?
Yes.
Did he draw sorcery?
No.
Oh.
It's 2 lands off the top.
2 land. Oh.
1 deep.
Oh.
1 deep.
That is unfortunate. But hey, you know what? That was hype. That's hilarious how both games ended at the same life.
Yeah, that's definitely not something you see very often.
That definitely is not. It ended off at this man, the burn guy, was at 12 lives. His opponent was at 1 both games, and both games he lost the same way. Wow, we got Ahmed on the horn saying, good sport about it. And we got Ellie, FTW, nice, GG's by Jeff Teller 6. Mm-hmm. Oh, man. Oh, I can't wait. I cannot wait to hear the standings, guys, on this one. That was the final, guys, but we will return with your standings and some announcements, so don't go away. This is Mount Gall. This is Super at... Scratch that. This is Magic the Gathering at Lotus with your hype boy and the confusion guy, PR sign.
Carl coming back at you guys.
Don't go away. What's happening, Magic players? It's your hype boy, PRC.
Carl coming back at you guys.
And we got your standings for today's modern tournament. Go ahead, take it away, Carl.
So, of course, standings are a little bit different because some of the people we actually didn't see on camera today, but it still works out. So, in first place, we have Eli today with Indomitable Creativity. We have Dan G. He played Hammer Time, I believe, today. We also have Vickers. We saw him earlier today with John Luris. And last but not least, we have JP with Panza.
JP with Panza, that's what's up right there. So the only reason why we, of course, let you guys in on who is because these are seasoned veterans, and if you guys have ever heard of them, you've ever played against them, and you're watching stream, that's just a click like, hey, I know that guy's still putting in quite a bit of work, even during the times of, streaming and whatnot, and a little less play with the shiny cardboards. I don't know if the same thing has been happening with you guys in Magic that has been happening in Super, but we've just been having a lot of online plays, online tournaments. Rarely now they're starting to bring out the in real life tournaments, but I don't know if it's the same with you guys.
They're starting to bring in unofficial real life tournaments. I say unofficial. They are official, but it's not Wizard of the Coast is doing them. I believe it's Star City Games. Other local shops are doing them. There's another 220K in Dallas next week. I'm not exactly sure what shop is hosting that, or if Star City's doing it, or Channel Fireball is doing it. Channel Fireball was the main host of the tournaments, officially sponsored by Wizards.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard them coming back just yet, but things are slowly getting back to normal. But right now it has just been online play for the most part.
Gotcha. Well, guys, that is it for today's tournament. Of course, you have PR Sign. You had him today. You will have him next week on Wednesday. So these 2 Wednesdays, I'll be commentating for Magic. The next 2 weeks after that, I'll be commentating for DBS. I've been flipping back and forth, and who knows, maybe you'll see me a lot more, once I start learning a little bit more cards, or more, more card games, excuse me. And then, of course, having my commentators for those card games as well. I don't know if you guys just follow Lotus, if you just follow what I've been doing, but hey, follow Lotus Gaming Shop. It's an awesome card shop. Lily is definitely a wonderful person to follow. She does a lot for the community, guys. If you can, always give her a shout out, give her a little thank you. Thank you goes a long way, guys. This has been Mount Gall. This is Magic the Gathering at Lotus, and I'm your hype boy, PRC.
Carl, guys, catch you later.
UBI.